Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble night. Man, this is your shorty Rachel. Let me welcome all of y'all to the Writers for Life. Brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast show, man. Listen, man, some random topics and thoughts today, current news and events. It's an open panel. All right. I'm going to see if some of my, no play lyrical poem, and I'll be back in a second. Yeah. We living in a world where the rules don't know how to follow, but we ready to fly. System got us boxed in, trying to keep us small, but we rise like the phoenix. We ain't scared to brawl. They feeding us lies, but we see through the smoke. We're the voice telling us to divide, but we're stronger as one. Breaking chains, taking names, yeah, we getting it done. It's us versus the system. We're breaking the mold. This in the air, yeah, we taking control. No more silence. They never taught us to bear. We spare joys and laughter, but the pain remain untold. A burden we carry alone, a story left untold. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. He lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. We learned to divide our dreams and multiply our fears, but the ache in our hearts only grew with passing years. They gave us all the answers, except how to heal. The scars that run so deep means the time can't see. Yeah, they taught us how to share, but only the good. Smiles and laughter like we understood. But deep down inside, there's a storm we hide. Pain in our hearts, we're just trying to ride. Put on a mask, yeah, but nobody sees the cracks in the hearts. We share our dreams, the highs and the lows. But when it comes to hurt, we just close the doors. We share the fun times, deflect the pain, laughing in the sunshine, dancing in the rain. But the shadows linger, they creep and they crawl, breaking us down, but we don't share at all. We got hate in our hearts, but we keep concealed. Taught to share the joy, but wounds, they stay unhealed. They say love was easy to divide, but the heartache never subsides. We tried to split everything into two, but the pain lingers strong and true. Shared our dreams, divided our fears, but the sorrow remained years. No matter how we tried to let go, the weight of our suffering continued to grow. Now we're apart trying to heal, but some wounds are too deep to conceal. They said splitting up will set us free, yet the pain lingers in you and me. In a world where rules are set in stone, the system's grip tightens, we're not alone. Bound by chains of injustice breathe. Against the odds, we fight to be free. Mighty forces try to keep us down, but our spirits rise, refusing to drown. Defying norms, breaking through the mold. In this battle of wills, our story is told. As the clash continues day by day, we stand united, come what may. For in this world where rules don't apply, our strength and unity will never die. They try to silence our dreams, but we're loud and clear. With every step forward, conquering fear. They can't hold us back. We're the fire and the flame in this battle for freedom. We're all in the game. They say it's just a game, but we're playing for keeps. With the strength of the many, we're shattered our leaps. No more puppets on strings, we're cutting the ties. With our eyes on the prize, we're reaching for the skies. So let's stand together, let's break down the walls. In this fight for our future, we'll answer the calls. From the ashes, we'll rise like a storm. Riders ignite. It's us versus the system, and we're ready to fight. They building walls, but we're digging tunnels. With every step we take, we're shaking the bundles. From the streets to the courts, we're raising our voice. In a world full of noise, we're making the choice. They want to keep us blind, but we see the light. Knowledge is power, and we're ready to fight. From the corners of the city to the halls of the state, where the heartbeat of the struggle can't afford to wait. It's us versus the system, we're breaking the mold. This in the air, yeah, we taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise, let them know we're here. Riders ignite. They taught us to split everything, but not the heavy pain. It lingers in the shadows, a darkness we can't explain. We're left with shattered pieces, trying to mend what's lost. They taught us how to split everything, but not the heavy cost. Now we stand here broken, searching for some light, hoping for a way out of this never-ending night. But through it all, we find strength in each other's embrace. Together we'll face tomorrow and find solace in this space. They say don't bring the drama, keep it all light. But every night I'm fighting these demons in sight. Whispers in my mind, yeah, they echo when they shout. While I'm smiling on the surface, I'm breaking without. We're sharing the laughter, but what's underneath? A battlefield of sorrow, a war with no peace. We're warriors in silence, but nobody knows how the pain that we carry just grows and it grows. In a world of lessons learned, they taught us how to stand and burn. But the scars we hide deep inside are the ones that never subside. We followed all the rules they made, but the emptiness never fades. Their wounds like knives, cutting through even wounds that always grew. They painted pictures of success, but couldn't fix what's left from us. Now we're left to bear the strain of the pain that lingers, never wanes. It's us versus the system. We're breaking the mold. Listen, yeah, we're taking control. No more silence, no more fear. Together we rise. Let them know we're here. Riders ignite. To remember this moment, remember this face, remember this sound. We're the voice of the future, and we won't back down. In the face of oppression, we'll stand up tall. It's us versus the system. Hey, what up, everybody? I hope all of y'all is having a blessed and humble day. Continue to have a blessed and humble day, man. Let me welcome all of y'all once again to the Writers for Life brings you the Let's Talk About It podcast, yo. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. Listen, welcome to Philly, baby. First of all right, guys, I'm not sure where y'all watching from, but like I said, I hope all of y'all have a blessed and humble day. Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. I was not expecting this. Give me 1 second. All right, my bad. I got interrupted by myself real quick. We're gonna get this joint started. All right, guys. Listen, I'm not. Let me before we do get started. Let me give a shout out to Anita Sweet in the chat. And I saw somebody else up in this joint. Let me see who was it. Anita Sweet and Daniel Burr Sports Highlights. And I hope I pronounced your name right, man. Shout out to y'all. Blessings. Welcome to the live. We got the return of Mr. Oates. Shout out to Mr. Oates. Blessings to everybody. And like I said, welcome to Philly, baby. All right, y'all. We're going to get this job started. Okay. Listen, we got a lot of things, all right, to review and react to. Okay. And like I said, these are random thoughts, random topics. Link is in the chat down below. All right. I just ask, anybody comes up, let me finish giving my commentary. All right. And then we could chop it up. All right. But listen, it is a lot going on, right? From social media beefs, YouTube, squabbles, the what's going on between the president, right? Locally. It's a lot of crimes being committed. Shit. There's a lot of stuff going on, around us. But damn, y'all. Look, listen. Like I said, right? Even though there is so much going on around us, right? That if we try to unpack it all in one sitting, we'd be here until next Tuesday. All right, with no bathroom breaks. That's exactly why, we created these segments. Not to, how can I say, chase clout, not to, hop on trends, but to actually sit down and talk about what's happening in the world and what it means, for us. We don't just react to the news like everybody else, doing the OMG, y'all. Look at these, like, yeah, look at this. You see where I'm coming from? Nah, man, we don't do that routine over here, right? We break it down, we dissect it, we talk about the patterns, the consequences, the lessons, because reacting is easy and understanding is work. Why do you think people love reacting, right? And that's a question for y'all. Like whoever wants to answer it. Like, why do you think people love reacting but hate reflecting? Right? I don't get tired of asking that question. All right. See, when we talk about current news, we're not just talking about the, how can I say, the headlines. We're talking about the whole ecosystem around them. The stuff people ignore, the stuff people, normalize, the stuff people pretend ain't affecting them, even though it's sitting in their living room. All right. Even though it's sitting in their living rooms, eating these snacks at night. All right. We're talking about the things that, shape our communities, our families, our choices, our future. And we doing it in a way that's honest, uncomfortable, and necessary. Because if we don't talk about it, who will? Like, what's one issue you think people avoid because it forces them to be honest with themselves?
And I feel as though for me, it's accountability. Accountability is something that people fear a lot. And that's why I have the poll in the chat. All right. So if y'all feel comfortable, right, and y'all want to, man, listen, answer the poll in the chat. All right. And before we, even get the topic started, I will see, how many people answered it and what their perspectives is. All right. And listen, let me make this clear. All right. We don't push our support, our knowledge, or our experiences onto, people who don't want it. We're not here, how can I say, we're not out here forcing, how can I say, enlightenment like Jehovah's Witnesses at 7 a.m. We give it, we give it to the people who want it. The ones who, are hungry for change, the ones who want to grow, the ones who, how can I say, are tired of repeating the same cycles and calling it, life. We're here, for the people who want to be a part of the solution, not the ones who want to sit in the comments and be a part of the noise. Let me ask y'all, why do you think some folks fight, how can I say, why do you think some folks fight the very help they claim they need? Because it happens constantly, right? Not just here on social media, within our own communities, the people we love, the people we care about. Because let's be real, right? Everybody loves to talk about change until it requires them to actually do something different. Everybody wants a better life, but not everybody wants to confront the habits, the trauma, the ego, the pride, the comfort zones. That keeps them stuck. And that's why these conversations matter, because we're not just talking about the world. We're talking about ourselves. We're talking about the obstacles we create, the ones we inherit, and the ones we pretend, that don't exist. So before I continue, let me ask you, what is the hardest habit you ever had to break? You had to break in order for you to grow. For me, I wouldn't say it as much as a habit. I would say it could be a habit. I got a big heart. My heart is bigger than my body on some real shit. And I had to learn that, sometimes being too nice, being too giving, being too helpful backfires. You see where I'm coming from? And there's no win. All right? Like on some real shit. You can't be too hard and you can't be too nice. You're too nice, they take advantage. If you're too hard, you're turned into the villain. That's crazy. You see where I'm coming from? But with me, I think it's been that. I've had a lot of people like, yo, you gotta stop being nice. You gotta like just move on and let some people learn. All right, hit their head, bump their head. You see where I'm coming from? But it took me a little minute to understand that. I'm doing better with it though. And listen, and since I'm not the type, to preach from a pedestal, let me go ahead and use myself as an example. A shorty like me had to learn the hard way that growth ain't cute. Right? It isn't cute. Growth ain't growth. How can I say ain't aesthetic. Growth. How can I say ain't a Pinterest board. Growth is messy, loud, uncomfortable, and sometimes it feels like you're fighting yourself in a dark alley. But every time I leveled up, it was because I stopped trying to change who I was and started trying to be try. How can I say? And I started trying to be. It's not even be. I started trying to be better, all right? Better than who I was. And there's a difference, all right? There's a big difference, all right? Because changing who you are, all right, keeps your soul in silence, screaming from the inside, all right? And nobody can hear you. But when you're you, when you're honest, you see where I'm coming from? Not just with yourself, but with everybody else. When you take accountability for the mistakes and the things that you do that are fucked up, messed up in this world, right? It is you becoming a better you. And yes, there's a difference. Because some people want to change because they want to be like that person that they look up to. And then they keep trying and they keep trying, but they can't. Why? Because certain people can't walk a mile in someone else's shoes, let alone carry or bear the cross that person is carrying. So let me ask you, What's the one thing you had to unlearn to become a better version of yourself? All right. And with me, I had to look in the mirror. All right. And I had to learn that the person that was staring back at me, I didn't like that person. But, anyways, right. And back on topic, right? And that's what I want to bring to the table today. Not perfection, all right? Not fake positivity, all right? Not love and light with no accountability. I want to, how can I say? I want to bring real solutions, real conversations, real self-reflection, because the news is just the surface, right? The story the story is how we respond, how we adapt, how we grow, and how we refuse to let the world turn us into something we're not. We're not here, how can I say, to be numb. We're here to be aware. Do y'all think that awareness is a blessing or a burden? And if so, like, listen, let a shorty know why. Make sure that I got the right videos. And I'm on the wrong channel too. Yes, give me 1 second. I'm gonna get back to my commentary. I'm just trying to make sure I got everything right. Real quick. Come on, like switch channels, fool. This joint. Okay, now I gotta turn this joint off over here. And I'm about to share my screen with y'all in 1 second. But listen, today we're not just reacting to the news. We're using it as a mirror. We're talking about the obstacles that get in our way, the ones that we create, the ones we how can I say we can overcome, and the ones we need to stop pretending are just life. All right, and I'm not how can I say, and I'm gonna walk how can I say through it with y'all. All right, using my own story, my own flaws, my own lessons, because if I can grow, you can grow. If I can change without losing myself, you can too. This ain't about becoming someone new. It's about becoming, how can I say, someone better, right? What's what's one change you're ready to make, even if it scares you? And for me, it was, how can I say, to step out there, all right, and see what the world was really like. Because, like, even though I had a dark past, right, I had so many people around me that protected me from the things, from outside of my own, how can I say, from outside of my own community. You see where I'm coming from? Like I told a lot of people, like, my story is out there, right? I didn't get to see what the world was really like until I hit 21 and I started really going out there, right? And I had to do, different things. I started peeping it at 16, going on 17. 17, I was pregnant. You know, gave birth to my firstborn. But then even there, I was just stuck, you know, trying to get my high school diploma, going to work, taking care of my baby, and then I was doing it on my own. So it's like, you see where I'm coming from? I wasn't even focusing what the world was really like until I really started paying attention. Until I started taking my child out there. You see where I'm coming from? And that's what led me to the poll that we got in the chat down below. Like, what do you think is the biggest obstacle people face when trying to grow? Like, is it fear, lack of accountability, comfort in old habits, not knowing where to start? And I feel as though it's all of the above. All those obstacles get in the way of people. We have to learn how to overcome those obstacles. All right. I'm about to see. Can we see the poll? Let me see. Because I'm trying to only leave it up for until. All right. Ain't nobody voted over here. Did they vote over here? Can I check the poll over here? Wait, how come I can't see the poll over here? I'm gonna figure the poll thingy out later. All right, we're gonna figure out the poll thingy. But we're about to end this one, all right? So far we only got one vote on this, John. all right? And it's fear of change. But we're gonna end this poll right here. All right. I want to end it because I'm gonna add a new poll. All right. All right, and we're gonna review and react to a few topics, all right. But before we do, all right, I want to ask y'all, which topic do y'all think we should review and react to first? All right, I'm gonna give y'all a oh shit, no, not like that. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes before we even get started on the topics, all right? So give me 1 second because I'm getting used to. I'm trying to get used to using these little poll thingies with my audience and stuff like that. I can't see the messages. My bad. Let me give a shout out to anyone that's watching from Twitch. All right, I can't see the messages, and if I put the Twitch on this, John, it's gonna start glitching on me. All right, so I do apologize. All right, I don't know what's going on with this Twitch, John, but man, shout out to anybody that's watching from Twitch. All right. But man, which topic do y'all want us to start off with? And while I work on that, all right, we're gonna put something on real quick.
Religiously, understand the 7 principles of hell. You understand the 7 demons within you. You understand that whole concept. It's a whole metaphysical concept. We ain't go over that, but it ain't.
Never want.
All right, I got the polls. I think it's on the vertical, if I'm not mistaken. So if y'all want to, vote, all right, it's on the vertical. So let a shorty know, like, if y'all, which topic y'all want a shorty to start off with, all right? But listen, all right, y'all, let's get this John started because today, we got a lineup of stories that feel like the world is glitching in real time. All right, and I'm not just here to react like everybody else is doing. OMG, look at this. All right, routine type shit. Nah, all right. Like I said earlier, we're here to talk about what we can do, what we should do, and how we stop this madness from repeating every other week. That's why, on every topic today, I'm dropping a poll in the chat because I don't want to just talk, at y'all. I want to talk with y'all. And if anybody wants to hit the panel, the link is sitting right there waiting. All right. Why do y'all think, we keep seeing the same tragedies repeat like nobody's learning anything? And mind y'all, like on every live, right? No, throughout these conversations, no matter what type of commentary I'm giving, I always ask provocative questions because I want to get y'all input. You see where I'm coming from? I just think sometimes people are scared to answer the questions. I don't know why. But anyways, let's start with this fluorescent foster parent situation, all right, that's being talked about in the news. All right. We have 2 foster parents being accused of abusing their foster kids for years. All right, years. And suddenly folks in politics are acting shocked. Baby, shocked where? Like, shocked how? Shocked when? Because the system been broken, right? Allegedly. That's the plea. The red flags have been waving, right? And the kids have been screaming into the void. And now we got this Laura Ingraham lady, all right, who want to hop on TV like she just discovered corruption yesterday. Man, girl, please. Yo, the real question is, why does it take a headline for people, to pretend to care? Like, do you think the system is broken, or or do people just ignore the parts that don't affect them? All right? Like, I don't get tired of asking that question. People constantly say, yo, the system is broken. Is it? Or is it doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing? Then we got this New Jersey man, right? Allegedly sitting on hundreds of images and 40 videos of child exploitation. And every time I see a story like this, I swear my blood pressure hits a new level. Because how do these people keep slipping through the cracks, right? How do they keep hiding in plain sight? And why does it always feel like the internet is a playground for predators instead of, of a safe space for kids. It's like every time we blink, another one pops up. Man, I think, man, listen, and no, I think we got the answers, man. We know we got the answers in front of us. We just ain't looking deep down enough, right? Listen, what do you think is, the real root of this? Lack of monitoring, lack of laws, or lack of consequences? And I feel like it's all of the above. Lack of monitoring, lack of laws, and lack of consequences. But I would love to hear what y'all got to say, what y'all think. All right. And then, Philly, my city. All right. Y'all know I come from Philly. All right. We have a murder suspect on the loose. All right. Again. It's like every time we try to breathe, something else jumps off. And I'm tired of people acting like this is just, how it is. Nah, man. It's not. It's how it's been allowed to be. And until we start talking about, prevention, resources, mental health, community, accountability, and the environment people are growing up in, we're going to keep seeing the same cycle. Philly deserves better. And any other city that crime is being committed in deserves better. Our kids deserve better. Let me ask y'all, all right, especially if you're from Philly, what's the one thing you think Philly needs immediately to break this cycle? Or whatever city you come from. What is it that your city needs to break the cycle of missing kids, black on black crimes? Like, we can just keep going down the line. Now, right? We're also going to talk about this whole Trump accounts for kids. All right. This whole situation is wild. Listen, I don't care what side of the political fence you sit on. All right. Kids in politics should not be mixing like that at all. Kids don't need political accounts. Kids need safety, education, boundaries, and protection from the chaos adults create. And the fact that this is even a conversation shows how wild the internet has become. We can't even keep predators off platforms, but now we're making political accounts for minors. Should kids even be allowed, on political platforms at all? Or is that a hard no? Or is it a hard yes? I would love to hear y'all input on that. All right. And then we got, residents saying my kids aren't safe after dog attacks. Like, listen, I love animals, but some of y'all got dogs that should have been, how can I say, in obedience school, therapy, and maybe a spiritual retreat. If your dog is out here attacking kids, you don't need a pet. You need accountability, because a child shouldn't be, how can I say, scared to walk outside. And the fact that the owner is just now facing a hearing, child, chill, man. Boy, I tell you. Like, do you think dangerous dog cases are more about the dog or the owner? I would love to hear you, especially if y'all catching the replay. All right. What is y'all input? Do y'all think that dangerous dog cases are more about the dog or the owner? And finally, all right, like we also going to touch on the school bus aid. All right, we have a school bus aid and a driver arrested. We also going to talk about Papa Duck saying that he's oversharing, and a whole list of stories that show, how chaotic the world is right now. But we're going to get through it, all right? One topic at a time. Listen, because that's what we do here. We don't just react, we break it down. We talk solutions, all right? We talk preventions, we talk accountability. And I'm using myself as an example today too. Like I do any other time, because growth ain't about preventing. All right? Pretending. All right. It's not about pretending that you're perfect. It's about being honest enough to change. So let's get into it. Let's talk, let's talk the talk. I don't want to debate. I want to have conversations. Let's learn and let's figure out how we can move forward as a community. All right. I asked which of these, issues y'all already, wanted to see first, but I don't think anybody typed in the chat anything. So we're going to continue, and the shorty's going to, pick the first topic. All right, guys. So with that being said, let me share my screen. And this is the first topic we're going to get into, all right? The fluorescent foster parents accused of abusing their foster children for years.
Are charged for sexually abusing foster children for years. Florissant police say they have been investigating this case since November after the Children's Division brought concerns to their department. Justina Cornell sat down with Florissant Police Chief and the county prosecutor. Justina.
Well, both say these victims were foster children who are already in a vulnerable, even more devastating. Today, 63-year-old Michael Moore and 43-year-old Berlin Baldwin faced a judge charged with multiple counts of sexual abuse.
This was first brought to our attention in November of 2025, and we've been actively investigating it since that time.
St. Louis County Children's Division tipped off investigators to this Florissant neighborhood on Gateswood Drive. That's where these two men, Michael Moore and Berlin Baldwin, lived.
Both of the suspects in this case are foster parents, and the victims of this case are people that they were fostering and they had in their home.
There are a total of 4 victims, all of which were under 18 at the time of the offenses, and they were foster children of these 2 defendants at the time these incidents occurred.
The foster parents are charged with multiple counts of sodomy and statutory sodomy. Police believe the abuse happened between November 2020 and January 2025.
What stands out is that they probably really
ago.
made sure that they had access to children and used their position as foster parents to gain access to very vulnerable children who would likely be at risk.
Amy Robbins is a forensic interviewer with the St. Louis Children's Advocacy Center. She says the state should have regular home visits and individual check-ins with children. Robbins also notes what male victims may be facing.
There's a lot of stereotypes that come with that, concerns on whether they will be believed, a fear of questioning their own sexuality, and a lot of that is used in the manipulation and grooming of those victims from the beginning or onset of their abuse. And so those are just additional factors that unfortunately play a part when you have a male victim.
As this case continues, other potential victims can act now.
We want victims to know your voice matters, and when you come forward, you will not be in this alone.
Now, I have filed a public records request with the Missouri Department of Social Services, who oversees the Children's Division. I asked how long the 2 defendants have been foster parents, how many children they've fostered, and if there have been any other similar allegations or reports. Until we get more information, police urge anyone who may be a victim or anyone with information to contact them at 314-831-7000.
That's wild. No, I don't want to see Tasha. Okay, give me 1 second. I don't know why.
2 foster parents are.
Why is it doing that? Hold on. Go back. Why is it doing this? Give me 1 second. We got all this populated, and we had a whole playlist. What's going on?
Feeling you love? Bring it everywhere you go with that.
All right, my computer is lagging. I don't know what the hell is going on. Give me 1 second. Let me make this journal private because it's private. That's right. Yes, me. Give me 1 second. I'm going to give y'all my perspective on this journal. That shit. Really trouble.
Death rattle.
Pause. I need you to pause. Like, come on. Why are you slagging with me today?
Death rattle. That's the focus of tonight.
Yo, wait a minute. Like, yo, what's up? The internet has been slacking with everybody. Is y'all able to hear me? I don't know if y'all can hear me, but if y'all can, man, just put a 1 in the chat. All right, for the shorty. Listen, all right, y'all. Let's talk about this fluorescent foster parent situation, because this one had me, pacing around my living room like, ain't no way. All right, these kids were abused for years. All right, not days, not months. Years, and now everybody want to act shocked like this is some brand new phenomenon. Baby, listen, the system been broken, right? So they say, says, how can I say, before half of us were even born. And the part that gets me, how can I say heated, is that these kids didn't just get, how can I say, failed once. They got failed at, how can I say, every checkpoint. Every checkpoint that was supposed to protect them. Their parents failed them. Foster parents failed them. The agency failed them. And the government stamped the paperwork like everything was fine. How many times does a system have to fail before, we admit it's not broken? That is designed this way. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. All right. And let me say this loud enough. All right. For the people in the back, I hope somebody gets, how can I say, I hope somebody gets those kids an attorney. All right. And sues the absolute hell out of Missouri. All right. The agency, the governor, the whole chain of command. Like, it's time to change, it's time to break these chains of society. All right. Like, everybody who signed off on this circus. All right. Because how do you hand children, vulnerable, already traumatized children, to people who already had, how can I say, no business being foster parents in the first place? They let anybody into the system. Anybody. All right. If you can fog a mirror and fill out a form, boom, here's a child. Here it is. Here's a child for you. It's insane. Let me ask y'all. Should foster parents' approval be stricter than, how can I say, adopting a dog? Or am I tripping? Oh, but then in foster care, it's the same shit. It's the same thing. They go through abuse in foster care. It's crazy. And I'm sorry, but like, how did these two individuals even become foster parents? Who interviewed them? Who checked their background? Who walked into the house and said, yep, this looks safe? Because somebody lied. All right. Somebody rubber stamped something. Somebody ignored something. And now kids are paying the price for adults who were lazy, careless, or complicit. All right. And the saddest part, right? The saddest part is this, that this isn't even new. This has been happening forever. All right. It's just that now we got cameras, social media, and people who refuse to stay quiet. Do you think these failures come from negligence or straight up indifference? All right. And if anybody catches the replay, hey, listen, man, I would love to hear your answer, your reply in the comments down below, your perspective. What do you think? How do you feel? And listen, I'm not here to sugarcoat it. All right. I hope these foster parents get life. All right. They get life in prison. I hope they get every single consequence the system can legally throw at them. Because if you can harm a child who already came from pain, you deserve to sit in a cell and think about every single thing you did. And if they want, I'm gonna put it like this, all right? Look, listen, yes, I get raw and cut sometimes. I get tired of being censored. Listen, man, if you want fucking booty, all right, like they clearly couldn't keep their hands to themselves, prison got plenty of volunteers. And I said what the fuck I said, man. You want some ass? All right, go to prison. Listen, yo, look, man. Do you think life in prison is enough for crimes against children? Or should a punishment go further? Listen, man. I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all know, listen, if y'all been following me for a while, y'all know how I get, yo. Listen, y'all know me. Y'all know me. I'm outspoken, but I'm also consistent. All right, I've been saying this for years. When it comes to crimes against children, I don't play. I don't negotiate. I don't how can I say I don't sympathize? We building caskets up in this joint because these kids don't get a second chance at childhood. They don't get to, they don't get a redo. They don't get therapy strong enough to, erase what happened. So yes, for me, death penalty, firing squad, whatever the law allows, because some people don't deserve to walk free ever again. But my question to y'all is the death penalty justified in cases, of child abuse, or is that just crossing the line? Listen, to me, it's not. All right. But they say that in prison, they got a special place for people like that. But I feel as though like you're here, you're still here. And that child lost not just their innocence, but their soul's been tampered with. And the part that breaks my heart the most, right, is that these kids were set up from the gate. Their biological parents couldn't protect them. The state didn't protect them. The foster parents harmed them. The agencies ignored them. The government underfunded the system. It's like every adult in their, life passed the how can I say, not the burden, the baton of failure. And now we're, supposed to sit here and act like this is an isolated incident. No, this is a pattern, a pipeline, a setup. Do you think the foster care system can be fixed, or does it need to be rebuilt from scratch? That's a question that I would love to hear the input from a lot of people. Listen, when I talk about this, I'm not just reacting. All right, I'm calling out the entire structure, because these kids deserve, how can I say, justice, protection, therapy, stability, and a future that, how can I say, that isn't shaped by the trauma adults force on them. And if we don't demand accountability from every level, the parents, the foster parents, the agencies, the politicians, then we're just waiting for the next headline. And I'm tired of headlines. I want solutions. I want change. I want these kids to finally be safe. So what's the first step we need to take, as a society, to stop this from happening again? And it's crazy that we have to figure out how to deal with mental health. I feel as though that's one of the biggest steps that we have to, hit. But, all right, since I'm talking to myself, right, like, let me leave this for y'all right here. Why do you, I'm going to leave a little poll, right? I'm not even going to leave it in the chat. I'm just going to say it, right? And I would love to hear the comments. Like, who do you think is most responsible for this family? The foster parents, the agency that approved them, the state government, or all of the above? And for me, in my opinion, I feel as though it's all of the above. And it's something that I don't get tired of saying time after time after time after time. Like, no. All right, we're about to, touch into the next subject. All right, so give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, the darkness lies, massive deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it. It just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, because your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's destined glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in the web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our hearts swell. It's hard to in this world of blame and shame.
Liberalism's death rattle. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, they lay waste to everything they control: education, entertainment, journalism, urban America. They produce kids who can't read, films that don't connect, news that doesn't rate, and cities that you don't want to visit. And congresswomen who can't reason.
Will you be the voice of reason in the administration and urge Trump to stop waging a war on American consumers and on housing or affordability and putting the economy at risk? Yes or no? You don't have to explain.
Representative Waters,
Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice? Will you be the voice?
She said,
will you be the voice of reason?
And
will you be the voice of reason?
A study
Yes or
from
no?
Morgan University
Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time.
Was a mass
Reclaiming my time.
unfettered immigration.
Mr. Chair, will you
let
let
in
him know
between 10
that
and
when I
20
asked
million
him
immigrants
Time does
took
belong
up the
to
housing
the woman
stock.
gullible.
10 and 20 million immigrants
Can you
took
shut
up the
him up?
housing stock of
Yo.
working Americans. And can you maintain some level of dignity?
Decency, dignity, that's obviously asking too much. Can you shut up?
She's,
Maxine
I
should
know.
be interacting with visiting angels, not whip-smart cabinet secretaries. She read every question, by the way. Her poor staff, I feel bad for them. If she even remembers their names, that is, because she didn't remember what she had just said to Besant.
Chill, man. Listen, man, I feel like after a while, certain politicians should retire. They need to have like a term limit. Like, listen, they do have like a term limit. I'm talking about like an age limit type shit. Like, I don't know, but Maxine's been disrespectful since forever. And the older she gets, the more disrespectful she gets. And the more she the more she gets amnesia. Oh, and Alzheimer's. Oh, I'm telling you. Alzheimer's. However you say that, John, man. For real, I ain't no doctor. Don't judge me.
You regret basically telling the secretary to shut up during the hearing?
I didn't tell him to shut up.
You asked for him to be shut up.
No, I didn't.
You did. You're on camera saying it.
Oh no, you're not. You're not right. I told Hill to tell him to shut up.
Right. Do you regret? I know. Do you regret saying that?
Oh, you missed it. You're trying to make up something.
I can't.
Imagine
Yo.
and liberalism, both on political life support. Now, none of them seem happy, by the way. They were happy during COVID when people were shut in, you had to do DoorDash and no one went to church. They're happy then. But now they're pretending to be shocked that a new administration would change investigative priorities.
The SEC was dropping. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau dropping cases. And
Well, sir,
look, you're on FSOC with all the heads of these agencies. This should be a serious question to you. Trust should be a serious question and a serious issue for the financial services industry, especially as the Secretary of the Treasury.
Well,
That's an important. No, this is my time. I haven't asked you any more questions. I haven't asked you any more questions.
It's the
sir.
gentleman from Massachusetts.
I'm trying to get to my next question.
Could you speak a little louder? I can't hear you.
Yeah, okay.
I
might.
But that was nothing compared to the come apart from that old lefty Congressman Greg Meeks.
Oh yeah, that's a yes or no.
No, Congressman.
All you have to ask
the
is yes or no.
OCC is an independent entity, and I would know, Congressman.
So I take that as a no.
You traveled to Venezuela.
I take that as a no.
On behalf of
I take that as a no.
On behalf of your
You
donor.
do not want to answer that question. I take that as a no.
For $7 billion.
I'm asking you to do your responsibility
They
as Secretary of the Treasury.
Into a Venezuelan.
You do not.
Will you?
Time has expired.
Oh, I love the point.
Damn.
He stopped him from being so smart. Now, this was comical. I enjoyed every minute. It was very revealing. Didn't lay a glove on Besant, obviously. And liberal incompetence goes down to the local and state levels as well. Mom Donnie in New York, remember he promised all those freebies galore, but couldn't get the snow plowed or the trash picked up after a snowstorm. At least the mayor's driveway itself got cleared out, though. And he stayed warm in his fancy new personalized jacket. Now, even the socialists were mad at him. Turns out governing is a lot harder than doing TikTok videos. Who would have thought that? But at least...
All right. They're about to get into something else. All right, they're gonna get into something else on that, John. So listen. All right, y'all, let's get into this. All right, because apparently Democrats are out here pretending, all right, to be shocked about Maxine Waters acting up again. At least that's what Laura Ingraham, all right, is saying. And listen, whether you agree with Laura or not, the part that that kills me, right, is the performance of surprise, like. Shocked. Shocked where? Tell me shocked how? Like, listen, Maxine been Maxine since before half the internet was born. This ain't new behavior, all right? This is vintage. This is the collector's edition. So why are politicians acting brand new? Like they didn't see this coming. Like, do you think politicians are actually shocked or just pretending for the camera? And I feel as though they is, man. Like, and let's talk about, Mad Maxine. Because, baby, she is at it again. A true dinosaur in Congress. And I don't even mean that disrespectfully, all right? I mean that literally. Like, she's been in office since the dinosaurs were roaming, all right? Since the dinosaurs were roaming the Capitol. Like, she's been there so long, she probably got a parking spot with fossils under it, yo. And this is exactly why people keep screaming for term limits, all right? Because at some point, you got to retire. You got to sit down. You got to go enjoy bingo night, all right? And your grandkids and early bird specials. Like, you really do. Like, should there be a maximum age, all right? Or maximum number of years someone can serve in Congress? Like, I'm literally asking this question, and I would love your honest opinions, especially those that catch the replay. All right. Like, what blows my mind is how politicians, all right, in a certain, how politicians in a certain age range refuse to retire. Like, they refuse like they're allergic to stepping down. I don't know if it's abuse, addiction, ego, or they just don't know what else to do with their lives. But Lord, if you didn't learn from Biden, all right, Feinstein, Grassley, and the whole crew of senior citizens having temper tantrums on live TV, I don't know what to tell you. These folks be forgetting that, they were, they were at mid-sentence, and we're supposed to trust them with national decisions. Why do you think older politicians cling? Yo, listen, I got it. Like, why do y'all think older politicians cling to power instead of passing the torch? Yo, for real. Like, I really want to know that. And listen, and I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. All right. All politicians should have to take, like a cognitive test every single year. I don't care what party you're in. I don't care how long you've been there. Like, if you're making decisions for millions of people, right? You should at least be able to remember what day it is. Like, we get tested for our jobs that pay $15 an hour, but politicians making six figures, all right, and controlling the laws don't gotta prove they're still functioning. Make it make sense, yo. I don't know what generation we're in. Listen, man, I'm telling you. Like, should cognitive testing be mandatory for every elected official? Like, yes or no? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, right? But now people online, right, calling Maxine the devil. And listen, I don't see the devil. I see an elderly woman who needs to retire and go sit down somewhere. All right, mental health is real. Aging is real. All right, decline is real, and I'm not going to pretend like her behavior hasn't, been questionable. The contradictions are there, the attitude is there, the temper is there, but at the same time, the backlash she's getting is wild because half the people dragging her don't even, vote locally. Y'all don't vote at all. Y'all want to worry about federal. Like, do you think the criticism she's getting is fair, or is it, egoism mixed with politics? I don't know. I mean, I feel as though it's both. But like I said, I would love to hear more opinions. Because let's be honest, like, people love to scream about Congress, right? The Senate, the president. But when it comes to local elections, crickets, silence, ghost town. Folks don't show up. They don't vote for the school board, the city council, the judges, the DA, the people who actually affect their daily lives. And then they wonder why the same old politicians stay in office like forever. Baby, I'm telling you, yo. They stay because you don't vote them out. Why do you think people ignore local elections even though they matter the most. People ain't gonna answer this, shorty. Like, Rachel, man, you really think people gonna sit here and act this kind of no, they not. So listen, when I look at Maxine, I see two things at once. An elder who needs to retire in a system that keeps recycling the same people because voters don't participate where it counts. And that's the contradiction nobody wants to talk about. We want change, but we don't show up. We want, how can I say, new leadership, but we don't vote for it. We want accountability, but we don't demand it. So yeah, Maxine wilding, all right, but the system wilding too, all right. And until people start voting locally, we're going to keep seeing the same faces, the same drama, and the same chaos. So let me ask y'all: do you think America's political problems start at the top or at the local level? But listen, before we move into the next topic, all right, let me ask y'all this, right? And I should be putting it in the polls, but ain't nobody going to answer this, John, right? And as y'all can see, we're not staying like hours on one topic, all right? Especially with nobody in the chat, right? So I'm going to ask this, especially for those that catch the replay, right? Should Congress have term limits? Yes, absolutely. No, leave it as it is. Only for certain positions, or y'all not sure? Me, I feel as though absolutely. We're gonna make a complete change. We need complete. How can I say a new? How can I say a new foundation? But give me 1 second. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to anybody coming in through. All right.
If I knew then what I know now, sometimes I wonder, would I be the same or would I be different? A shorty still believes in fairy tales and imagination that lasts forever. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. I look in the mirror, see a stranger staring back, lost in the world that's spinning off track. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I give up and let the darkness win? I see no change, just the same old game. Wake up in the morning, I ask myself, is life worth living, or should I blast myself? I see no change, just the same old pain, but I know deep down, I gotta break these chains. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can go back in time, tell my younger self it's gonna be fine. Embrace the challenges, let your light shine. You'll grow and learn, just give it time. Hey young me, listen up, don't be afraid. Life's a journey, mistakes will be made. Chase your dreams, don't let them fade. Believe in yourself, you'll make the grade. Don't stress about what others say. Stay true to yourself every day. Love deeply, laugh often, don't delay, cause in the end, it's
All right, now to South Jersey, where a man has been charged with sexually assaulting minors. Authorities in Gloucester County say they've identified 2 young victims. Police also found hundreds of child sex abuse photos and videos in the suspect's home. Action News reporter Trish Hartman live at Monroe Township Police Headquarters with the latest tonight. Trish.
Well, Rick, that 26-year-old man is charged with possessing child pornography and abusing several minors. Now, a neighbor says he saw authorities execute a search warrant at that house a few months ago after a teen came forward to police. This is 26-year-old William McCrae. Gloucester County prosecutors say they found hundreds of images and 40 videos containing child pornography in his possession after an alleged sexual assault victim came forward in October.
Seemed like a decent kid. You know, my daughter graduated with him in high school, so to find that out is a little shocking for us all, I think.
Neighbor Dawn Shower was surprised to hear about the charges. Authorities say it all started when a victim came forward in October saying they had sexual contact with McCrae. Court documents say the victim was between the ages of 13 and 16. Authorities searched McCrae's Monroe Township home where they seized drug paraphernalia and multiple phones. Prosecutors say explicit images were found on the phones and in chats with several minors. Another victim came forward later, telling police McCrae sexually assaulted them as well. In an interview with police, McCrae allegedly admitted to having sex with one victim, claiming that he thought they were 18 years old. We spoke with McCrae's mother this afternoon on the phone. While she questions the validity of some of the allegations, she said in part, quote, "We are embarrassed and ashamed that this has occurred. Our heart and our sympathy goes out to these families." She added, quote, "We will do our due diligence to find out exactly what happened." And McCrae is now behind bars. He is locked up in the Salem pending trial. We're live in Monroe Township, New Jersey. Trish Hartman, Channel 6, Action News. Rick.
All right, Trish, thank you for that report.
Ryan's world is.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to go so fast. Like, you over here going to hit me. Like, why you doing that, man? All right, y'all, man. Before we move into that Ryan's world situation, listen. Let's talk about this New Jersey case, because every time I think, the world can't get, how can I say, any darker, another headline pops up proving me wrong. Right? A 26-year-old man facing 27 criminal counts, 27, right, for possessing hundreds of images and 40 videos of child sexual abuse material, right? And allegedly abusing, right? And I don't think it's allegedly, but allegedly abusing, minors himself. And y'all already know how, I get when it comes to criminals against kids. My whole spirit flips, my whole energy changes. All right. We build caskets over here, yo. Metaphorically, all right, emotionally, spiritually. Because once you harm a child, you done cross a line you can't come back from. Why do you think predators keep slipping through the cracks, even with all the technology we have today? Once again, the system is not broken, right? It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. But, thank God, another monster is off the streets. But let's be real. For how long? Because we've seen this movie before. They arrest them. They charge them. They make a headline out of it. And then boom. They got a plea deal, reduced sentence, probation, or some loophole that lets them, slither right back into society. Look what happened to Kata Scott here in Philadelphia. Oh, that's supposed to be, you know what? Before we end this, if anybody's there that's, really watching and really supporting, remind me, all right? Remind me, all right, to play the update of Kata Scott at the end of all this, all right? But listen, man, they get plea deals reduced, all right? Sentences, probation, or loopholes that, let them slither right into, society, right? And that's the part that pisses me off, right? These kids don't get a second chance at innocence, but these predators get a second chance, a third, fourth, all right? A fourth chance at freedom. Make it make sense. Listen. Do you trust the justice system to actually keep predators locked up or not? I would love to hear your input. Me personally, I feel as though, like I said, we have to, fix the whole infrastructure, right? And that means starting from the foundation, from the bottom up. From the bottom up. We have to change that foundation that is stuck in the 16 and 1700s. All right. But back on topic, all right? And y'all know what kills me, right? What kills me is this. There are so many legal, grown, consenting women out here who would happily go out on dates, talk, chill, whatever. And these bastards, these bastards, this bastard, but there are so many out here, all right? But we're talking about him. So this bastard right here, right, chooses children. Children, that tells you everything you need to know. This ain't about attraction. This ain't about loneliness. This ain't about I couldn't find a girlfriend. This ain't about power, control, sickness. My bad. I keep saying this ain't because it's like this is about power, control, sickness, and predatory behavior. All right, because listen, if you want an adult, you go find an adult, right? If you want a child, you're a predator. Period. Period. Point blank, like my daughter says. Why do you think society still tries to make excuses for predators instead of calling them what they are? What's crazy is you got TV shows, TV series out here in these platforms that where you see women that go crazy over predators. Man, shit, you got women that fucking sit here and cuddle them in chats. Some of them are content creators. They're child lovers. But because the system didn't catch them, or they're not in the registry, or a child wasn't able to prove that something was done by this person, they're considered innocent by law. So we can accuse them of being predators, right? This world is so full of predators. And I'm not saying that, to scare people. I'm saying it because it's the truth. And as a parent, right? Let me put it like this. As parents, as guardians, aunties, uncles, older cousins, community members, we got to be, on detective mode. We got to be, on reporter mode. We got to be on paparazzi mode. We got to be on I'm watching everything you do type mode. Not paranoid, but prepared. Because these predators don't come with a warning label, right? They come disguised as neighbors, teachers, babysitters, coaches, families, friends, even other kids. And I think I just heard something. I'm not sure. Mr. Oates, give me 1 second. I got you. Give me 1 second. Shout out to Mr. Oates. Let me ask y'all this one question. Do y'all think parents today are more aware or more distracted compared to past generations? All right. Like that's But anyways, I just want to leave that right there with that question, all right? Especially for those of y'all that catch the replay, let us shorty know what y'all think and how y'all feel. Do y'all think parents today are more aware or more distracted compared to past generations? All right. And give me 1 second. Let me give a shout out to Mr. Oates. Mr. Oates, how you doing?
Salute to you, riders. No, I was just up here listening. I ain't want to carry on with your commentary.
I'm gonna move on to the next video. But
yeah,
you want to say something?
No, as far as what you are, you say are parents more? Repeat the question again.
Repeat the questions. Do you think parents today are more aware or more distracted compared to past generations?
Okay,
generations.
Okay, exactly.
I'm talking about the generations before. Okay, let's put it like this. All right, any generation before the 90s.
Before the 90s?
Before the 90s.
Oh, most definitely. I wouldn't say they more aware. I'm gonna definitely say they more distracted because everybody looking at their phone.
Facts.
Everybody looking at their phone. You don't know who's in your immediate environment. You don't know what's going on. It might be a robbery about to go down, and you ain't even paying attention.
Listen, you ain't lying.
Yeah, you distracted.
I agree with you because that happened to a lady here on my block one day, right? It was summer. It was around the summertime, right? And they had the block closed off, and the shorty was paying attention to her phone. Mind you, she's in the corner where the Chinese store is at. Our block is closed, but the other side isn't. So she on her phone, and her daughter walks off, and she goes into the middle of the street on the other side where it's opened, right? And somebody's coming out the store, grabs her daughter, and brings her in, trying to figure out who this child's parent was. And boy, I'm telling you, when she turned her head, she dropped her phone, cracked that shit, and she's like, "That's my baby, that's my baby." Everybody was coming at her.
Yeah,
It's like it's a block party. Get the fuck off the phone and enjoy the party.
Yeah.
Like real shit.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
agree with you with that one. Like,
No, that phone got everybody shook up. But go ahead with your commentary, Rogers. I'm here.
all right. So listen, this video is gonna be a little different because it's gonna be 13 minutes. So I do gotta pause. I gotta talk. All right, but I'm gonna give some commentary after the video. All right, guys. Now, listen, my daughter used to watch Ryan's World. For real, for real. All right, my daughter used to love Ryan's World, but for years, all right, there's been a lot of talk about a lot of stuff going on, in Ryan's World. So let's talk about it, because apparently Ryan has finally lost it, and the whole Ryan's World empire is crumbling right behind the scenes, and not literally burning, but spiritually, emotionally, morally, and baby, the foundation is cracking, right? His parents are being exposed all over the internet for allegedly exploiting him since he was 3 years old, right? A toddler, a baby who should have been learning colors and shapes, not, filming 12-hour toy reaction videos. And now the Ryan's World movie that was supposed to come out or has already come out, according to, reports, according to people, according to bloggers, has flopped so hard. All right, it lost over $9 million. All right, theaters are empty like a church on a Tuesday. So before we get this video started, all right, do you think that child influencers are being protected or are they being used?
Ryan's world is burning down. Not literally, of course, but everything behind the scenes is falling apart. His parents are being exposed all over the internet for exploiting him since he was just 3 years old. And now it's been revealed that the Ryan's World movie was a total flop, losing over $9 million. Theaters were left completely empty.
You need us. She has a...
It's sad to watch because Ryan is 13 now. His voice is deeper, he's growing a mustache, and probably some armpit hair too. But his parents are still forcing him to make toy reaction videos like he's a little kid.
Ryan, what? Ryan, I have a surprise for you. What? Look over here. Whoa! What do you see? It's a giant lightning McQueen egg. Yeah, it is. You want to open it? Yeah. Let's go.
It's been 10 years of this. Imagine being a teenager and still having to open toys on camera because your parents won't stop chasing money.
But I remember being your age and just changing my mind every day in terms of what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be an astronaut. Then I wanted to be an NBA player. I'm curious, what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because the drawing and...
I ain't gonna lie. The mom, she ain't so creepy, but man, I want y'all to look at the dad. Why is the dad creepily looking at him like that? I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry, all right? But young boy got dreams of being an animator, right? And he's 13. I feel as though the parents should let him do that. Let him chase his dreams. I don't know why he's 13 years old still reacting to kid toys and stuff like that. Come on, man.
I think it's really fun to do because the drawing and then at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've worked on the whole time.
And that's what it's really all about, money.
Prized possession. I need to beef up the security so that the Red Titan comic book stops from falling into the wrong hands. So I've hired a security guard 24/7.
Ryan hasn't even finished puberty, and he's let that sink in. 100 million. But the craziest part is that Ryan himself seems clueless about how much he's actually making.
You're on track to be a teenage billionaire. How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
You have to ask.
Man, the crazy is that if he's worth so many billions, does he have his own account? And you know what's crazy, right? I'm glad we're watching and we're reviewing to this and reacting to it right now, because I'm not sure when we're gonna come across a video. There's a little playlist that I put together, reviewing and reacting to it together. But I have a video that a lot of people wanted me to react to, right? And it's about the Trump, all right, the Trump accounts for the kids and stuff like that, right? And we won't talk about that in a minute. But it's crazy how, listen, man, the government, parents, right? They'll sit here and exploit children, and nobody really pays attention in the ways they do it. These parents right now, if this child is worth so much money, they should have already had something set up for him. By the time he turns 21, he should already have money, how can I say, stacked up, and how can I say, flipped like 10 times over already. You see where I'm coming from? But I'm not sure if they have, right? According to reports, right, from me doing my own personal research, mind you, this video has, interested me because, like I told y'all, my daughter grew up watching Ryan's World, right? She watched this when she was little, because she stopped watching Ryan's World maybe like about 3 years ago, right? Like, she grew up, she's doing different things, all right? She's 9 years old. So it's kind of like, I'm hoping they got something like that, but a lot of parents don't do this. And I feel as though that, I'm noticing this, right, a lot with a lot of the parents that are influencers. They use their kids, right, to make videos, and they make money off of it. And in reality, when you look at it, it is exploitation.
His parents doing with all that money? Are they giving him his fair share, or are they pocketing most of it? Something doesn't add up. They've made billions, not just from YouTube ad revenue, but from sponsorships, toy deals, merch, and even a movie. Yet somehow they keep pushing Ryan to make more videos.
In many ways, your family also represents the American dream. I mean, you guys immigrated here from Japan, Vietnam, met at Texas Tech, and created all of this. I'm curious, I mean, there's like people creating wealth, and I feel like you guys have created generational wealth.
I think I've figured out why. Both of Ryan's parents are immigrants, and his mom was even arrested for theft years ago. They probably didn't have much money growing up. And now that they've achieved billionaire...
Oh, no. Okay, they legal immigrants, because if she got arrested and she's still in America, they legal immigrants.
Generational wealth.
I think I've figured out why. Both of Ryan's parents are immigrants, and his mom was even arrested for theft years ago. They probably didn't have much money growing up, and now that they've achieved billionaire status, they can't stop chasing more and more. It's like, but at what cost?
And it turns out that Ryan's in 2002 for shoplifting. She found $93 worth of clothing from JCPenney at Alameda Mall in Houston, Texas. Loan was 18 at the time and attending the University of Houston. She faced 60 days in jail, and instead the judge gave her 6-month probation and a $150 fine. She was told that she had to complete 40 hours of community service and complete random drug tests. Pretty lenient. Problem is, Loan did not show up to her community service.
Damn, mama was hood back in the days, all right? She was out here robbing markets and stores and getting high and shit. No wonder they so hype and so thirsty when it comes to this, influencer social media type thing, man. Damn, some people, when they get a taste of money, they don't know what to do with themselves. But come on, don't exploit your child. If anything, exploit yourself.
Service. She didn't report to her community advisor, nor did she pay for the fees. She was arrested again in 2003 for violating her parole.
Damn!
And spent 30 days in jail.
Exploiting your child to this extent is just wrong.
$199,998. $999,999. $1 million.
Come on, tell me he's not too grown to be playing with these little kids' toys. If anything, his little sisters should be doing that. And they're saying that they're using the sisters. Then why is Ryan still doing this? Why isn't Ryan out there on, like doing the animation that he likes doing? Why don't y'all have him in some type of program? But y'all got him here still, 13 years old, playing with these little ass motherfucking toys with the Muppet baby still behind him.
Morning workout complete.
Forcing him to work like this when he should be enjoying his childhood, it's hard to believe they haven't broken some kind of child labor laws. Think about it. Is it even legal to put a toddler in front of a camera to make millions? And what happens if Ryan ever decides he doesn't want to do this anymore?
Doing really well at school right now. So maybe main focus is his school.
Yeah. If he came to you and said, hey, Dad, I want to be an engineer. Mom, I want to be a teacher like you. you know, I don't want, what do you say? Like, it's okay to like leave all of this behind if like Ryan were to call it quits? Like what would happen to pursue something else?
Yeah, for sure. Because, you know,
Ryan's dad loves to say they've set up a trust fund, hired wealth managers, and given Ryan a share of the company.
I feel like you guys have created generational wealth.
let's
How
be
do you
real.
think about the future of that as a family?
you know, managing this scale of the business, this scale of the finance. So when we first saw the initial success of the YouTube, you know, that was like the first thing we kind of learned, that how to manage assets for our kids and then for his future kids. So trust fund and then multiple different the wealth management groups who oversee Ryan's finance. So, you know, there's a lot of kid talent, you know, you see on the news that they regret how money was managed and when they were little. So, you know, that's one thing we want to make sure is when he grows up, you know, his assets are maintained and even grow. When he's at the right age, you know, he has the money that he could use for his new future project when he grows up. So we setting up multiple different accounts right now at the moment.
Yeah, because I know Hollywood has the Coogan.
I mean, hopefully that's true, like, man, but we know when it comes to a lot of influencers, that's not their first thing, their first go-to. But hopefully they have, all right, because at least they thought about him. But still, man, don't, like, you hear him say what it is that he likes doing. I feel as though that should be what he should be working on right now.
Account where they keep money for child actors, 15% put in a fund. It sounds like you guys are doing something similar and kind of setting a precedent for other kids on YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah, that's completely right. And you know, if you think about it, 15% is not that much. So Coogan, the law is very minimum, right? For kids, we're going up and beyond. For Ryan's Mystery Playdate, we put 100% of the Ryan's talent fee to his Coogan account and for his trust account too, and we make sure he has a stake of the company, of our company, and you know that's the one way that we feel like we can set him his course for his future. So
the company wouldn't even exist without Ryan. It's his name, his face, his labor. He shouldn't just get a small slice of it. He should own it all.
I mean, to Sean and Loanne, how did this all start?
Well, Brian's been watching YouTube ever since he's little, and he started watching other kids on YouTube. And one day he just come up and asked me, you know, can we start a YouTube channel? There's other kids on here. It looks like they're having fun. And then I started watching YouTube videos with him, and it really did look like the family on there, the kids on there were having a blast together. So I thought, why not? We can use it as a fun experience, bonding experience together. So decided to just take him to the store and then just ask him, what toy do you want to play with? And that's just how it got started.
Imagine being 13, worth millions, and still having to rely on your parents for the money you earned. What's even worse is that Ryan doesn't seem to have much of a choice in any of this.
Like he's
still a minor on that one.
He's, in theory, damn near 13 years old, I think.
He's 13.
And he's still going. And some of these are like semi-daily too. Like it's just weird. Like even last month, he announced a full-blown movie.
Sure, his parents say he's not being forced, but how much?
Yo, it's wild. Even the teenagers want to save Ryan. I can't, yo. The youth is out here making videos trying to save Ryan.
How much of a choice does a child really have when their whole life has been built around this? Ryan should be out enjoying life, playing sports, making friends, or just being a regular teenager. Instead, he's stuck in front of a camera, opening toys. The whole situation is just wild.
Yeah. I realized when people recognize me and they're like, hey, you're Ryan. I just realized that we were famous off of it and that it was a thing that people didn't normally do.
Yeah, but we want to make sure, you know, the YouTube doesn't become just majority of Ryan's, you know, daily life. So one thing we prioritize was his schoolwork and private life.
Ryan's world started as a little kid having fun, playing with toys like any other child. In 2024, he's 13 years old, and it's sad to see him stuck doing the same thing. It doesn't feel like fun anymore.
I wanted to be then I wanted to be an NBA player. I'm curious, like, what do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because like the drawing and then like at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've like worked on the whole time. And like sometimes I can see like the drafts first, and then after I can see like the full thing. And it's really cool to see how it changes over time.
Yeah, you were in the front.
Like, Ryan, are you going to keep making YouTube videos,
Hey,
given your interest to be an animator and maybe go behind the camera, like as you get older?
I think I will keep going for a while. Yeah.
You really have to wonder, does Ryan even know what's happening, or is he just a gold mine for his parents? And
I mean, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I asked that same question. For real, for real. Listening to the younger generation sit here and say the same thing that a lot of adults are saying. I'm not sure they're saying it because they hear the adults are saying it, but kids ain't stupid either. All right. A lot of these kids are smart. And it's crazy how a lot of them are making videos like you and me right now. But they're trying to save Ryan. All right. Like me personally, I'm not sure what's really going on behind the scenes. They could be good parents, but don't exploit your child. Now, once you exploit your child, that makes you like a neglectful parent. Man, I don't know what's the best way to, how can I say, break that John down for y'all.
let's not forget the mental toll this must be taking on Ryan. How do you go to school the day after filming a toy review with your parents? How do you relate to other kids when your life is so completely different?
You're on track to be a teenage billionaire. How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
People recognize me like, hey, Ryan. I just realized that you're famous.
What's been the biggest sponsorship that you said no to?
Millions of dollars. We lost revenue of 70%.
I just pushed through.
You're the first creator ever to have a Macy's Day Parade balloon and have a product in Walmart that sold over $1 billion.
To just go from just a regular immigrant family and then now full-length feature movie, that's a big step.
If like Ryan were to call it quits, what would happen?
The thing is, they don't even need to keep.
Yeah, I gotta see the full interview, man. He just cut them off. Like, what would happen if he, calls it quit? While all of y'all look at each other like that. Ryan, speak up. Blink 3 times if you need help. Just like that, all right?
Going. Ryan is 13 now, and they've already made billions. At this point, it just feels like greed. I mean, when I was 13, I was hanging out with my friends, playing video games, and going to parties. Ryan is stuck in his room, playing with toys for YouTube.
As a dad, again, I think about...
I mean, I swear that some boys at 13 just want to play their Xbox and their PlayStation. Ryan is still making videos for 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds. So that is a little questionable.
When I put my daughter in front of the TV, she watches YouTube. She doesn't know what's sponsored content versus organic. You guys were investigated by the FTC about that. Like, how do you think about like what you choose as a sponsored piece of content? Because that's part of the business and diversification is so important versus not.
I guess clear division is the whether you're endorsed or not, right? If you receive the free product or if you have received any monetize from the company to promote the certain products, then I think that's the promotion, that's a commercial. So that's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the guideline from the FTC too.
And let's not ignore how awkward some of these videos must be to film.
Would you rather Valentine's edition?
Or drink a gallon of strawberry milk?
I think eat 1,000,000 candy hearts.
No!
It's hard to shake the feeling that Ryan's parents are more focused on their own bank accounts than on what's best for him.
Favorite color?
I want to see if your truth detector works.
Well, obviously. Watch out.
Is there a consequence?
It's going to happen.
That's why you cannot lie. Look, Daddy, you're up.
Well, I'm next. Oh, I'm nervous.
Go it.
What's really sad is that Ryan's world started as something so innocent. It was just a little boy playing with toys and spending time with his family. Over the years, it's turned into this massive money-making machine. And now, Ryan is the one paying the price for it.
You're on track to be a teenage billionaire. How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
People recognize me like, hey, Ryan. I just realized that you're famous.
What's been the biggest sponsorship that you've said no to?
Millions of dollars. We lost revenue of 70%.
I just pushed through.
You're the first creator ever to have a Macy's Day Parade balloon and have a product in Walmart that sold over $1 billion.
to just go from just a regular immigrant family.
Facts. He was the first one, right? No, yes, he was. Because not even Yo-Yo Siwa, but Yo-Yo Siwa got deals after him, but she was a little older. Yo-Yo Siwa was a little older. But it's just, listen, man, y'all don't understand. Like, parents don't understand. When y'all do these things to these kids, while these kids are out here making other kids happy, they losing their childhood. That fucks with they mental. My bad, let me stop cussing. That messes with they mental.
And now, full-length feature movie. That's a big step.
If like Ryan were to call it quits, what would happen?
The more you think about it, the worse it gets. Ryan's parents have built their entire empire off of his name, but how much of it actually belongs to him? They talk about shares and trust funds, but if Ryan wanted to stop tomorrow, would they really let him? Or would they pressure him to keep going, just like they have for the past 10 years?
I was really young, like 3 years old. I always saw lots of really young like content creators, and I asked my parents if we could do something like that. And we started as just like a toy reviewing channel, but now it's grown into so much more like gaming videos and skits and educational videos.
Ryan's world might still look colorful and happy on the surface, but behind the scenes, it's clear that things aren't as perfect as they seem.
The richest kids in the world right now. Number 7. Ryan Koji, 11 years old. His net worth is $26 million. He has 34.8 million subscribers. Ryan started his channel when he was just 3.
I mean, obviously his channel's gonna blow up like that, yeah. Like, listen, we don't know, what is actually going on behind the scenes, all right? One thing I can sit here and tell you is, right, if they are doing all these things, right, it is exploitation. But I don't know. Like, at one part of the interview, I heard him say, they're doing different things now, like little skits and stuff like that. They've always done skits, though. They've done skits, for a minute. Shout out to the answer. I see that he's live now, man. Go check him out, guys. Great conversations, great topics. But back on topic, man. Like, he's doing a regular vertical. I thought he was going to do live and drop the link, but he's not doing that. Let's see. But let's get back on topic, right? Listen, what's crazy is now Ryan is 13, right? A whole teenager. His voice is deeper. He's growing a mustache, right? Probably got, like the bull said, deodorant in his bathroom right now, right? Underpit hair. He's got hair growing in areas, going through puberty. But his parents still got him opening toys on camera like he's in preschool. 10 years, 10 years of this, 10 years of being, a brand instead of a child. Imagine being a teenager and still having to pretend you're excited about a slime, right? And a surprise egg because your parents won't stop chasing the bag, all right? That's not childhood, all right? That's a contract. At what age should a kid be allowed to say, I don't want to do this anymore? Like, let's talk about the money, because this is where, it gets real suspicious. Ryan is worth over 100 million, right? 100 million. And he hasn't finished puberty. But the wild part, he hasn't even seen, how can I say? He doesn't even know, or how can I say, doesn't even seem to know how much he's making. That's where my eyebrows go up. At 13, young Will should know. All right. This is something that we talk about, constantly. One of the reasons why I say, right, especially when it comes to like the workshops that I want to do when it comes to my community, shout out to a beautiful one for being one of the other people, here on this platform that bought it up the other day, right, and reminded her shorty like that. I'm shorty, man. Y'all see that my petition is down there, right, to get more cameras up in this in these schools and much more. All right, we're gonna talk about the community center a little, a little later if we can. But listen, man, like I want these kids, right, to start learning how to do these things at a young age, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, when it comes to the community center, if I can, the youngest probably 4. All right. I want them to come in. I want them to learn to do different things from gardening, right, to entrepreneurship. Like, listen, I want them to learn leadership. Like, I want them to learn brands, right? Like, I want to do different things when it comes to this community center, not just arts and crafts, right? Not just basketball. Like, if we can, when we expand, we'll add basketball and stuff like that. But right now, my biggest focus is getting them off these streets, right? Getting them occupied and doing the things that they want to do, not the things that we as parents want them to do and accomplish or become, right? The things they want to do, right? Listen, I'm going to put it like this. My eyebrows go up, right? Because if a kid generating that kind of wealth, the first question should be, where's the money going? Who's managing it? Who's benefiting, right? And why does it feel like, the math ain't math? Should parents be legally required to prove, right? Their child, their child influencer's money is protected? I mean, he's 13 now. Like, there shouldn't be no secrets between the parents, but we don't know that. You see where I'm coming from? They are in the podcast. They probably don't want to put that information out there, but a lot of it is already out there. You see, when you Google them, you see that he's worth over, the bull said 26 million, but they had lost some money. They had to, they went through some courts situations and stuff like that. So we don't know if his worth is a little less now. But now listen, this is all allegedly because social media loves to, exaggerate. But I'm not gonna lie. Some of the behavior, is given something ain't right. My daughter used to love Ryan's World, right, when she was a baby. And even back then, I said, some parents need to let their kids be kids. Blogging ain't, bad. YouTube ain't bad, but the real question is, do these kids still want to do it once they get older? Or are they trapped, in a brand they didn't ask to build? Do you think kids, should have the right to retire from social media? And it's crazy, like kids with social media jobs. I'm 36 years old asking that question. But listen, let's be honest, right? The mom, she's suspicious, but like regular suspicious, right? The dad, super duper ultra suspicious. Like, sir, why are you always hovering suspicious? Like, why do you look more excited about these toys than your son? Like, suspicious. And every time Ryan talks, his parents nod like they're, like they're listening, but their faces say, wrap it up. We need another take. Ryan looks stressed, conflicted, like he's, carrying a whole franchise on his back when he should be carrying a backpack to school. But they say that he is going to school, so then again, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Do you think both parents are equally responsible, or is one driving the machine more than the other? And since I know there's not a lot of people, in the chat, I would love to hear these, for people to give, a reply to these questions. For those that catch the replay, man, leave your comments down below, man. Let's get this conversation started, right? And in my opinion, right, what his parents are doing, right, if these allegations are true, it's cruel neglect, right? It's cruel, right? Like, neglecting his feelings just to keep the money flowing, ignoring the fact that he's growing up, changing, becoming his own person, right? He's not a toy opening robot. He's a teenager with dreams, interests, and a whole identity outside of YouTube. Like, and if the young boy wants to be, an animator, support him. Let him grow up. Let him evolve. Let him be a kid again. Like, come on, man. As parents, we're supposed to be nurturing, backing our kids up. All right, rearing our kids is the right terminology. So should child influencers be, allowed to choose their own career path once they hit their teens? Like, so listen, we're going to see how this plays out because more updates are definitely coming out. But this situation is a reminder that not every family channel is family. Some are business, wearing machine t-shirts, right? And not every smiling kid on camera is happy. Some are exhausted. Some are pressured. Some are, trapped in a lifestyle they never, chose. And as viewers, as parents, as people with common sense, we gotta ask the hard questions because protecting kids should always come before protecting a brand. Do you think YouTube and social, how can I say, platforms should enforce stricter rules for child creators? I don't know. But before we move on to the next question, do y'all think that Ryan is being exploited by his parents? Leave your comments down below and let us shorty know. Mr. Oaks, you got anything to say about this topic?
Yeah. What I'll just say this and I'll leave it alone. What child star don't you know of that hasn't been exploited by their own family? And I'm back on mute.
Exactly. That's why we keep having these conversations. Pete, Mr. Oates, right? The topics that I bring up are topics that other content creators don't really talk about. But we definitely about to move on to the next topic. All right, guys? Now I want y'all to, I want y'all to pay attention to this topic. All right, y'all know a shorty's from Philly. All right, and before we put, we play this topic right here, man. Look, listen, welcome to Philly, baby.
No, please vote. What's that? All right. So good afternoon. As you know, there have been a number of shooting incidents involving tow trucks and their operators. 2 incidents in particular have turned deadly. As a result of the hard work of the men and women of the homicide unit, I'm here to announce the arrest warrant for Sean Williams. He is the owner of NKW Towing. He is wanted for 2 counts of murder and 1 count of ag assault. The cases in particular, so you know what they are. On December 22nd, 2025, at approximately 12:17 p.m. at 4200 Torresdale Avenue, a David Brennan Garcia Morales, he was located by police in the driver's seat of a white Ford F-450 tow truck. He was suffering from gunshot wounds to the body. This initial investigation was handled by the non-fatal shooting group, which is called the SIG. They did a fantastic job. During their investigation, the suspect vehicle was later identified as a dark blue Cherokee bearing a PA temporary tag of 4351125. Now, we did put out a patroller for that vehicle. We also asked for the assistance of the public for that vehicle as well. As of now, we have not recovered that vehicle. On December 26, 25, Mr. Morales was pronounced dead at 5:23 p.m. At that time, that's when the homicide unit took over the investigation. Our next incident was 2101 North Street. Now, this happened on Sunday, January 11th at 7:52 p.m. Now, this was a double shooting resulting in 1 male passing away. Our victim here is Aaron Whitfield. He was shot multiple times and pronounced dead at the scene as he sat in his tow truck. Now, our surviving victim was shot 1 time in the leg and was in stable condition. Now, based on that investigation, we did recover video that showed clearly the tow truck was parked outside of what's called the Smoke World Shop, at 2101 North Street. A silver Honda drives by, fired multiple shots from the passenger side window. That Honda then flees north on Bustleton Avenue and then east on Glenview Avenue. As you know, when these incidents happen, the homicide gets involved, we comb the area for every and any little piece of evidence. We were able to identify that Honda Accord, which was reported stolen. That vehicle was recovered in the area of 5500 Lansdale Avenue. Now, based on the forensics evidence, we were able to determine Najee, again, Kashawn Williams, was at both locations and committed both crimes. Once again, we need the public's help on locating Najee Williams. If you know where he's at, do not hesitate to call 911 or call our tip line at 215-686-TIPS. And you can remain anonymous. Do you have any questions? Well, we initially got that as a territory dispute, and I think it's very important that I tell you this. We do have some predatory tow truck operators operating in the city of Philadelphia. I'm here to tell you now, there's no area they own in the city of Philadelphia. If you are involved in an auto accident and you are feeling uncomfortable about a tow truck arriving on scene, being predatory in nature, do not hesitate to call 911. We have assets in the field that will mitigate that situation. They were tow truck drivers, both victims and our offender.
What the hell?
There are disputes that we know of. Again, we don't want to put that out on the record right now, and that's, again, as part of our investigation. Oh, no problem. Well, we have a last known whereabout in the area of Montgomery County. We're still looking for that. We have our fugitive task force and the United States Marshals assisting us in arresting this individual. Well, we believe there's some type of connection there. Again, we're not ready to go on record to say this was actually part of that investigation or part of that homicide, but we are working towards that direction.
So it's not just 2 victims that he might have. According to you, there's a 3rd possible victim, but you're not ready to talk about it. Okay.
We do not. That is correct. That I do not have an answer for you right now, but we will find out.
Do they have the employees, or was he just a sole operator?
Again, we're looking into that. That's, again, part of our investigation. Well, we have that information, and then we have other information as well. Again, unfortunately, I can't give the total details of the investigation.
So
there's a lot more to be discovered, but there's a possibility that one was an innocent bystander in this, innocent in this shooting. No, I'm not.
Can you just remind us how the city rotational system works and how it's kind of meant to avoid situations where you have to company?
Sure. So you get involved in an auto accident and an officer is dispatched to that location. Based on the severity of the accident, the car may need to be towed, at which time we call our rotational tow companies. Now, there's a list of tow trucks that are on our list by police radio, and they're dispatched to that location. Now, that doesn't prevent another tow truck company to actually go to that location first. What we found out is these tow trucks, especially the predatory type of tow trucks, have what's called spotters. They will hear the radio, hear our scanners, and get to those locations quickly, and then try to pressure the person involved in the auto accident to actually use them as a tow.
Can you confirm what is for a towing or NJW or authorizational tow list with the companies?
I would have to look into that. I will look into that. Sure. Take your time.
With the shooting itself, was it up close, having shots fired, automatic weapons, drive by and shoot? How was that?
Sure. So both incidents look like they were drive-by shootings based on the forensic evidence we have. It was very quick. And again, the video we have from 2101 North Street is very, very clear. And it was a drive-by. Multiple shots fired, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do not have that in front of me. Unfortunately, I won't get that to you right now, but you know.
What do you say to people when an accident happens? A lot of the tow trucks will say the cops ain't coming. So what you need to do is you need to let me take your car, and we'll take care of it. We'll safeguard it, and of course the cops ain't coming.
Okay.
What's your response to that?
My response to that is, if it's serious enough, wait on location and again, dial 911. Do not hesitate to call 911. If it's not that serious of an auto accident, exchange information, and then you still can go to a police district.
Y'all say don't hesitate to call 911. Like, like, listen, man. I don't know if it's just in Philly. All right, I don't know if it's just in Philly. All right, but I had to pause this to say this, all right, because I've seen it before. I've experienced it. Y'all say call 911 like it does. Like, listen, when you call 911, they don't dispatch these officers, right, until like maybe 2 hours later. Same thing when a crime is being committed in the neighborhood. Cops don't come right away. Sometimes they don't come until the next morning. Come on.
Any police district in the city of Philadelphia to make the report.
But the police do respond to injury accidents. If somebody is injured in an accident, the police do respond. Am I correct?
That is correct.
So, over a film, I mean, that's pretty crazy. What's your reaction to that?
Well, it's just one of many senseless murders that we've had in the city of Philadelphia. Now, thank God the murder rate is going down, and it's going to continue to go down.
Is what?
Yeah, this is just senseless. There's no rhyme or reason for it. Okay. Thank you.
He just lied straight through his teeth. Hold on, give me 1 second. Oh, he just lied straight through his teeth.
2000 North 19th Street. 2000 North 19th. 2000 Black North 19th Street.
Okay, thank you. Let me say to people. Say to people.
Okay, so straight through his teeth, man. For real, for real. Like, come on, man. I don't know if anybody's watching this from Philly, but y'all, Mr. Oates is still there? I don't know. Oh yeah, he is there. I don't know what just happened. There we go. I just fixed the screen. I don't know why I did that. But listen, man, if you're from Philly, you know damn well how long it takes officers, right? I don't know if Philadelphia is the only city that's like that when it comes to cops, right? Listen, someone could be having a heart attack, right? It'll take you forever. I'm telling you. I can't believe the boy light up straight up like that, yo. But man, see, that's certain politicians for you. But let's talk about it, right? Because Philly is back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, all right? Authorities are searching, for an armed and dangerous suspect wanted for killing 2 tow truck drivers, all right, in December and January. 2 lives gone, 2 families, shattered. And for what? Ego, pride, a temper he couldn't control. This man worked his way up, all right? Built a company, had something to lose, and now he's about to lose everything over something that should have never escalated. Right? It's heartbreaking, right, and infuriating at the same time. Why do you think some people throw away their whole future over a moment of anger? That's something I can't even pinpoint. But if anybody got, the answer to that, man, leave your comments down below. My condolences go out to, to the 2 tow truck drivers and the 3rd alleged, victim and their families. Like, they were out there doing their jobs, not bothering nobody, not hurting nobody, and they got taken out like their lives meant nothing. That part, that makes me, that makes my stomach turn. You took 2 people's lives. Like, it was a casual decision. Like it was nothing. And now the community is supposed to sit here and pretend like, this is normal. Yeah, we got to stop normalizing this level of violence. So do you think, right, especially, I want people that are from Philly to answer this question. Do you think Philly has become, how can I say, desensitized to violence, or are people just exhausted? Right? And if in your community you're going through the same thing, I would love to hear, I would love to hear your comments down below. All right. And let's talk about the community aspect, because this is where it gets messy. These are the same kind of people, the community protect, the same ones folks say no, no snitching for, the same ones people hide, defend, or make excuses for. But let's be real, he belongs in a cage permanently. if he did this. You can't kill two people over, how can I say, a tow and expect the neighborhood to shield you. That's not loyalty. That's self-destruction. It's no snitching helping the community or hurting it at this point. And that's something that I would love to hear everybody's perspective on. Even Mr. Oates, when, I'm done giving my commentary, right? And can we talk about these, press conferences? Because, baby, listen, baby, these reporters, they be asking questions with no mic, all right? We be sitting at home, squinting, turning, the whole volume up, putting our ears to the speaker like we 90 years old. If y'all want the public to stay informed, give the reporters some microphones. Like, we can't hear a damn thing. It's like watching a silent film with subtitles missing. Like, should press conferences be required, to mic every question so the public can actually know what's going on? Because you can't really hear half the shit they're saying. All right. Now. If they prove that he was the mastermind of the one who actually pulled the trigger in Pennsylvania, right? Like, if he really has, how can I say, then a judge really has no choice but to give him life in prison. 2 murders over, towing. That's some, how can I say, psychotic behavior. That's not normal conflict, all right? That's not the heat of the moment. It's crazy. Like, in Philadelphia, there's a lot of shit going, man. There's been a few people unalive, even over parking spots. Over parking spots, yo. Like, psychotic behavior. It's not normal conflict, yo. That's not the heat of the moment. All right, that's something deeper, darker, and dangerous. And honestly, it reminds me of that. How can I say? I think it's if I'm not mistaken, is a movie that. Listen, the main person that portrays in this movie is I think if I'm not mistaken, Jay Gyllenhaal. It's a movie called Nightcrawler. All right. People doing wild, violent, desperate things for control, money, or territory. Not just or territory. Like, do you think crimes like this come from, desperation, ego, or straight up just evil? And let's not pretend, that towing companies don't have their own, drama. All right, crash cashiers. How can I say crash chasers? Shady deals, people fighting over territory like it's the 1980s drug game, right? Some of these companies operate like mini mafias, and yes, I'm going to say it. Some cops are probably pocketing cash too. Don't get mad at me, all right? I'm just reporting the news and giving my opinion. When money and power mix, corruption is never far behind. Do you think the towing industry needs a full investigation, or is this just one bad actor? Like, at the end of the day, 2 innocent men are dead. A suspect is, on the run, and a community is left shaken. And until we start addressing the root causes, all right, ego, all right, violence, lack of, how can I say, conflict resolution, toxic street culture, and corruption, we're going to keep seeing stories like this in Philly, all right? In different places of the world. Philly deserves better. Your city deserves better. I'm not sure where you watching from, but baby, welcome to Philly, baby. These families, look, listen, these families or any family that's been through this type of, tragic trauma deserve better. And the community deserves safety without having to choose between silence and survival. All right. What's the first thing Philly needs to do to stop this cycle of senseless violence? And, whatever city that you're in, your city too. It goes for your city. Right? Like, what do you think caused this tragedy? Could it be ego and anger, corruption in the wrong towing industry, lack of community and accountability, or all the above? And I feel as though it's like all of the above. But y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all can. All right. Now, Mr. Oates, you got something to say? I think Mr. Oates fell asleep.
I just put it in the back. I just put it in the back chat. I told you I'll be right back. I'm walking the dog, but I'm listening.
Oh shit, man! I be forgetting about that back chat. You know that, right?
Yeah. Check the back chat. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got to check that back chat more. I got to. I be forgetting about that, John. Yo,
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know,
That's
you're
why
all
I was
right.
like, let me give him a minute. Because I'm like, oh, right.
No,
All right,
I'm listening. I'm enjoying the content. So go ahead and carry on, Miss Lady.
We're gonna play this next video, guys, and then I'm gonna give y'all my commentary. Right? I want to do it like this because it's like a lot of people like when I give my input, in between. But these are news videos. I don't really gotta pause it to give commentary unless it's somebody else's video. So when the news clips, when they're news clips, I'm gonna just let them Jones play, and then I give my commentary. So listen, man, if y'all have been enjoying the stream this far, smash that like button for a shorty. Share the content for a shorty, all right? But let's continue, all right? And let's get into the next topic.
Okay, so there has been a lot of talk about the Trump baby account. What is it? How does it actually work?
So joining us to make sense of all of this is Fox financial analyst Phil Flynn. Phil, thanks for joining us. Always good to see you. Let's get on this right now. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the purpose of this account and explain to everybody how it works.
Well, the purposes of this account is to help people grow wealth, especially young kids that have never had exposure to the market. I think the reason why is that there's so many people in America that aren't living the American dream, and they should be, mainly because they don't know how to invest. So this is a way for the Trump administration to say, hey, children, get your kids involved in investing at a young age, and we're going to help you with some very select vehicles where you can grow wealth. And if you do so, by the time you start to grow up, you're going to have growth. And this is going to take more pressure off the government. If people are more wealthy, the government is going to have to, write less checks to try to help support people. So this is a huge win for just about everybody.
Who qualifies and when does this begin?
Well, the qualification has expanded, right? First it was only, children born between 25 and 28, which means if you didn't have a child, then you better get busy because you don't have a lot of time, right? But private donors have actually added to this fund. So anybody under the age of 18 can get involved. Now, obviously, the people that are born, the young children, they get $1,000 off the bat. The people in certain zip codes and lower income zip codes are going to get only $250. But the nice thing is it's been expanded to everybody under 18 who can put money into this account. They get tax advantages, tax benefits, and it's going to help them grow wealth for their children. And their children are going to thank them someday.
So anyone under 18, but they're not getting the $1,000 as to start. Just if you get money into that account, you will also benefit. Okay, so let's talk about this. $1,000 for these babies, a great start. But for a newborn, how much money could that be by the time that child is 18 years old?
It would be expected, and this is conservatively speaking, that it would be worth at least $5,000. Even if you didn't add another penny to that, right? Now, consider the fact you start adding a few dollars every month, even $1 a day or $15, that could be a substantial amount of money by the time that they turn 18. So this is a great thing, and it's going to bring more people into the market and give them a piece of that American dream.
How does this compare to a 529 plan for saving for your child's education, though?
They're very similar in some ways. The education fund is going to give you more investment vehicles. And the difference is before tax dollars and after tax dollars. So when you get into that fund, you're going to have, it's not going to be taxed. So that money is going to be tax deferred for years. So you're not paying taxes. The amount that you add into the Trump account for the children is going to be after tax money. So you're going to already have paid taxes on that money to put it in, but you're still going to get the benefit of the growth because that's going to be tax deferred. So I hope that's not confusing, but that's it. But for if you
Dude, you're
want
confusing.
education, you're going to go with the education fund, even though this other fund can be drawn down for education. But if you're smart, you'll do both of them because they both have great benefits for your children, and you're really setting the stage for them to have a good economic future.
Okay, so the money's not going to be available until the child is 18, but is there any situation where the money can be accessed earlier? And if so, what would a penalty for that be?
If you draw it down before you're 18, there's a 10% penalty. So that's not wise to do. And when you turn 18, you can draw it down. You're going to have to pay taxes on it, but that can be only used for educational purposes. But what this is really built for is to grow wealth for retirement. So when your child retires someday, he's not going to worry like a lot of the people that are watching today. That's like, hey, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to retire. They're going to have a nest egg built up. And that's really good, not only for your children, but for the, for society as a whole. Right? Because we will have more money in the future to take care of themselves, and not have to rely on, the government or other forces to do so.
Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's benefits, there's risk as well. Any risk in doing this? Can the government come for the money, say, if the parents owe in taxes or student loans?
Right now, I think is for the children, it's really going to be separated. Right? So I don't think they're going to be able to touch that once it's in there. So I think that's going to be protected. But I will tell you this, everybody's worried about market risk. Like, okay, we put money in there. Let's say the stock market crashes. I would alleviate those concerns. I mean, if you believe in America, every major correction we've had in the stock market, we've exceeded that. Sometimes it's taken a few years, sometimes it's taken a longer time. But over the long run, it's the greatest investment at all. And the way I'm bullish on America with new technologies coming online, I think some of the estimates of how much these accounts will be worth when these kids retire is going to be a lot more than the conservative estimates that we're hearing.
And I'm just curious, what's the conservative estimate you've heard for retirement?
I've heard up to $250,000, as much as $500,000. Mm-hmm. It could be in the millions when you get to this point. So, if you look at the potential of artificial intelligence and what that could do to the growth of the economy in the years to come, it's amazing. I mean, when you look back, back in the 80s, and you look at where the stock market was and compare it to where it is today, just think of where it might be, 50 years from now. It could be so much higher, and these kids will really have a good retirement and have money to pass along to their children as well.
All right, Phil Flynn, thank you so much for helping us out here and breaking this down for us. We appreciate it. Always good to see you.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you so much.
In Chester County, a mother is demanding action after.
Hey, pause it. No, it's not your turn. What's up with you, dude? I ain't tell you can go ahead. I ain't tell you, But listen, the ball was a little confusing. All right, I ain't gonna sit here and lie. All right, it's like he was contradicting himself. I don't know if y'all caught it, but I caught it. All right, I caught it. Like, let's talk about it. These Trump account kids, these Trump accounts for kids, everybody online debating, arguing, panicking, laughing, confused. And honestly, I get it. Because the way this whole thing is being rolled out feels like deja vu. Right? It reminds me of those old Gerber insurance plans, right, that they used to push on TV back in the day. Sign your baby up now for a better future. Meanwhile, half of us still don't know where that money went. All right, real shit. I swear to God. Like, do they even still exist? Because I ain't seen a Gerber commercial since Obama's first term. Like, does this feel like financial help or financial bait to you? I would love to hear y'all opinions on this. All right, give me 1 second, guys. And listen. I'm not gonna lie, all right. I don't trust anything the government is handing out, all right. Not a pamphlet, not a pen, not a penny. The American dream been gone, right? It how can I say? It packed its bags, all right, left the country, and it ain't, how can I say, sent a postcard since. So when I see something like this, my first thought is, okay, what's the catch? Because nothing is never free. Nothing is ever simple, and nothing is ever what it looks like on the surface. Right? Like, do you think that programs like this are meant to help families or control them? I would love to hear your honest opinion on this. All right, listen. According to them, right, the purpose of this account allegedly is to help young people start saving, early. But let's be real, it sounds like a setup. How can I say, to get inexperienced kids, all right, guided by adults who barely understand the fine print themselves, to open accounts that eventually get forgotten. And when money sits untouched, that's when the hidden fees start creeping in like roaches. Before you know it, the account is empty and the bag is smiling. We got Gary Busted Down Brown in the building. Shout out to my OG, man. Make sure y'all go check him out. Great conversations, great topics, all right? And listen, let me ask y'all this. Should financial programs for kids be simple and transparent, or do you expect them to always come with things, with, how can I say, with strings attached, right? And I would love to hear y'all comments, right? Like, especially if you, catching the replay. Leave your comments down below and let's get the discussion started. And here's the part that really makes me, that makes my eyebrows hit the ceiling. Why are people in lower income zip codes, right, getting less? Did somebody misquote that? Did somebody misread it? Or is this another one of those, we help everybody except the people who actually need help situations? Like, because after the pandemic, right, after all the lies, after all the trust, all right, after all the trust of speeches, baby, like, you can't, how can I say, bamboozle us anymore? Like, we read the fine print now. Like, why do you think lower income communities always get the smallest slice of the pie, yo? Real shit. Everybody else getting like $250 and $1,000, but lower income communities only get $250 to start off with. I'm like, really though? Like, why? Yo, all right, listen, and let's talk numbers. All right. People acting like 5,000 is going to turn into a mansion in 18 years. Be serious, all right? With inflation, with the economy doing backflips, with the cost of living rising like it's on, like it's on a pre-workout. That 5,000 going to be worth a pair of sneakers and a sandwich by the time these kids turn 18. People acting like, this is generational wealth. No, this is a starter pack at best. Do you think 5,000 today will even matter in 2044? Let's be real, man. Leave your comments down below. Let's get the discussion started. Listen, honestly, the best financial, future for your kids is you. You making good choices and passing that knowledge down. Not a government account, not a political program, not a trust us. Right? Not a trust us. It's for the children. Initiative. Right? Like, kids learn about money from piggy banks, chores, saving birthday money, watching you budget, watching you invest. You need, how can I say, you don't need a government monitored account to teach a child how to save. Do you think financial literacy starts at home or in the system? I feel as though it should start at home. It used to before, but now I don't know what's up with some parents. Like, and let's keep it real. This is just another way for the government, to track what you're doing, track your spending, track your habits, track your kids before they even hit puberty. Everything nowadays comes with surveillance baked into it, all right? So while people are out here celebrating free money, I'm over here side-eyeing the whole operation. But anyway, let's keep it moving because we got more topics to hit today. Do you think programs like this are about helping families or monitoring, right? I'm gonna ask y'all the poll instead of leaving it here because listen, I'm on this channel, I'm on the backup channel because like I told y'all, man, we try and get that backup channel, popping. So make sure y'all sub up to the Writers for Life brings it all 2.0, right? Because over there we're gonna start doing, we're not gonna change so much, but we're gonna definitely start doing more, different type of content, especially the Philly walk-alongs, the TikTok dances and stuff like that. It's gonna be over there, and we also gonna have some poetry over there. But let me ask y'all this: do you trust the idea of government-created accounts for kids? Absolutely not. Maybe, but only with strict transparency. Yes, it can help families, or y'all not sure. And while y'all think on that, all right, let me put this on while y'all think on that real quick.
If I knew then what I know now, sometimes I wonder, would I be the same or would I be different? A shorty still believes in fairy tales and imagination that lasts forever. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. I look in the mirror, see a stranger staring back, lost in the world that's spinning off track. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I give up and let the darkness win? I see no change, just the same old game. Wake up in the morning, I ask myself, is life worth living, or should I blast myself? I see no change, just the same old pain, but I know deep down, I gotta break these chains. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, will things change? Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can go back in time, tell my younger self it's gonna be fine. Embrace the challenges, let your light shine. You'll grow and learn, just give it time. Hey young me, listen up, don't be afraid. Life's a journey, mistakes will be made. Chase your dreams, don't let them fade. Believe in yourself, you'll make the grade. Don't stress about what others say. Stay true to yourself every day. Love deeply, laugh often. Don't delay, cause in the end, it's how you play. Be kind to others along the way. Spread love and positivity each day. Don't worry about what they may say, cause your uniqueness is here to stay. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. If I can meet my younger self, I tell her not to be afraid, that courage will be her wealth and bravery will never fade. Don't fear the challenges ahead, for you'll face them head on. Your inner strength will dawn. You'll grow up to be a warrior, standing tall, unafraid and strong. A parent, a role model, and inspired, fighting for what's right all along. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of time, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Looking back on all the roads I've traveled, regrets and lessons learned along the way, but still holding on to hope and faith that with God's grace, a brighter day will come our way. I see no change at all. I'm stuck in this cycle, feeling so small. I ask myself, is this all there is, or should I just end it all with a final kiss? I try to stay strong, but it's getting harder each day. The pain and the struggle won't seem to go away. I'm tired of the lies, tired of the deceit. I see no change, just defeat after defeat. I wake up in the morning feeling lost and alone, wondering if life's worth living or if I should grab the throne. The weight of the world on my shoulders is hard to bear. I see no change, it's like nobody cares. Deep down I know I must fight, I won't let the darkness consume me. I'll shine my light, I'll rise above the pain, I'll break free from these chains. I'll find my purpose and I'll make a change. Sometimes I wonder if I turn back the hands of times, fix my mistakes, but things change. Oh Lord, guide me through this journey of life, help me see the light through all the pain and strife. Sometimes in life we make so many mistakes, and we think that when we fall we're not able to get up. We listen to those that, talk in our ear, tell us that they, are there for us. And at the end of the day, what's crazy? A friend ain't nothing but $1 in your pocket. Family is what you make of it. Family is not who you're born into. Alright? So we need to pick ourselves up and do what we gotta do. Life is not for you to sit around and wait for Superman to come save you. Only you can save yourself. Just like that.
neighbor's dog attacked her 4-year-old son, and it's not the only alleged encounter. Action News reporter Leland Pender spoke to the child's mother in Downingtown tonight.
The attack on the 4-year-old boy wasn't the first, but police say it was the most severe, so the level of concern has increased. The owner of the dog is now set to face charges tomorrow for harboring a dangerous dog. These photos show Whitley Coggin's 4-year-old son after she says he was attacked by a neighbor's dog.
One of them jumped
Damn.
over the fence and ran after him and attacked him and dragged him through the yard by his arm.
It happened in November as he played in their Downingtown backyard. Coggin says the dog highlighted in this photo was the one that attacked.
The dogs need to be removed.
Downingtown police say the dog attacked again in late January, a less severe incident involving a tow truck driver. In both cases, the dog was quarantined in the home and dangerous dog charges were filed. After multiple continuances, a hearing in Coggin's case is scheduled for tomorrow. If the owner is appeal. At Wednesday's Borough Council meeting, the police chief said further escalation is possible if conditions aren't met.
We've been in contact with the SPCA and the attorney's office to make sure that we start making progress on this incident.
The Brandywine Valley SPCA said in a statement it has issued citations for lack of rabies vaccines and proper dog licensing and will continue to support police in the investigation. Brazunas says there were prior incidents in the summer of 2024 and others unreported.
This can't continue. It's not, my kids can't go outside and play.
And that's really what all of this comes down to. The police chief says residents deserve to be and feel safe in their neighborhood. And I, of course, by the way, attempted to reach the dog owner by phone multiple times, but was not successful. Police say they've also had little cooperation. That hearing is set for 11 a.m. Here in Downingtown, Leland Pender, Channel 6, Action News.
The victim is a 10-year-old autistic boy.
All right, guys. All right. I'm gonna answer Gary's question in 1 second. All right, but to get through this video real quick. All right, let's talk about this video. All right, because when a mother says, I'm gonna answer Gary's question in 1 minute. He says he asked that right there. All right, but let's get into this topic. My bad, my bad. Because when a mother, when a mother says my kids aren't safe, right? I mean, I don't know if y'all as parents have been through it, but when a mother says that my kids aren't safe, right? Like, that's not drama, right? That's not exaggeration. That's, survival mode. How can I say? A Downingtown dog, right? A Downingtown dog owner is heading to court, right, after like two recent dog attacks. Two recent dog attacks sent people to the hospital, including a 4-year-old boy who now doesn't even feel safe in his own neighborhood. Like, imagine 4, right, and already learning fear. I mean, a lot of kids go through it, right? Like, but imagine being 4 and already, scanning the block like you're in a war zone. That's not normal. That's not, how can I say, dogs being dogs. That's negligence. Should a dog owner lose their animals immediately after a serious attack or only after court? And it's crazy because if somebody's coming into your house, into your property, trying to, rob or do something, that's when a dog should attack. A dog should not be hopping fences, right? Attacking children for no reason. But listen, right? If that happened to my child, baby, I'm telling you, yo, like, I'm not gonna lie. I would have hopped that fence like an Olympic athlete, right, with a mission. I would have handled every dog in that yard and then call the cops on myself. Because when it comes to your child's safety, you don't think, you react, you protect, you defend. All right, you take, how can I say, the charge if you have to. Destruction of property, fine. I'll sign the paperwork. But we're not, how can I say, but what we're not doing is, how can I say, letting a dangerous dog roam free while a child is traumatized. Do you think parents should have the legal right to defend their child from an attacking dog by any means necessary? Not just an attacking dog, man. That should be towards a human too, man. A motherfucker that's out here attacking your child, man. Yes. Right. And you know, that's the crazy part. And if you defend yourself against, how can I say, a dangerous dog, law enforcement will, you know, shut you down, right, in 5 minutes. But when it comes to the actual owner, suddenly everybody wants to investigate, review, wait for the hearing, gather, right, and then gather evidence. Gather what? The child is in the hospital. The injuries are real. The fear is real. The danger is real. But the system moves slow for the wrong people and fast for the wrong reasons. Why do you think the system protects irresponsible dog owners more than the victims? Kind of like the predators over the victims. The predators should, you know, how can I say, receive every penalty in the law book, but they be, you know, they take it easy with them. Some judges slap them on the wrist. Shout out to the ones that don't, that take that shit serious on some real shit. But some judges, yo, it's like they don't give a fuck. And listen. And I'm not sure, you know, what this owner was doing, training them to be guard dogs, attack dogs, letting them run wild, because dogs don't just wake up one day and decide to be vicious. Something in that environment, that training, that treatment, that energy created this behavior. And that's what people don't want to admit. A dog is a reflection of the owner. A dog is a product of that home. A dog, how can I say, a dog mirrors the energy it's raised in, right? Do you think aggressive dogs are born that way or made that way? And let me tell you this, right? Dogs ain't born that way. They're made that way. They really is. Like, it depends on how you raising these dogs. For real. Right? See, look, listen. My dog is family. He don't eat at the table, all right? Let's be clear. He's not, you know, licking my face like we dating and shit like that, all right? But he's loved. He's cared for. He gets attention. He's never chained outside like a lawn ornament, all right? He's never locked in a cage like a prisoner. And because of that, he's calm, he's gentle, he's protective, but not violent. He only reacts if one of us, his people, all right? Yes, we his people, like he's my people's, all right? That's my right hand. I had buried my best friend 2 summers ago. Like, it broke my heart. But anyways, right? Like, listen. That's how a dog should be raised. Do you think most dogs attack from lack of training or lack of love? And I feel as though it's both. Dogs will attack because of the lack of both. Some people treat their dogs like weapons. Like, you know, how can I say, like status symbols, like intimidation tools. And then they act shocked when the dog behaves exactly how they trained it. Right? Aggressive, unpredictable, dangerous. A dog is not supposed to be your security system, your ego booster, or a street reputation. You good? A dog is a responsibility, a living being, right? And if you can't handle that, you shouldn't, how can I say, own one, period, point blank, period. Should people be required to take training, you know, how can I say, classes before owning certain breeds? And man, listen, it's to the point where I'm starting to agree with certain people that are saying they should. Listen, at the end of the day, a child is hurt, the community is scared, and, you know, a dog owner is facing court. But none of this, you know, had to happen if you raise your dog right, train them right, socialize them right, and treat them right. They won't be out here attacking kids. But when you raise a dog in chaos, you get chaos. And now a 4-year-old boy is paying, you know, the price. That's the part that breaks me. All right? It breaks me because kids deserve to feel safe in their own neighborhood, not traumatized. Not traumatized by someone else's, how can I say, irresponsibility. What should the punishment be for dog owners, whose pet seriously, injured a child? Who is most responsible in this situation, right? Who is most responsible for these type of attacks? The dog owner, the dog behavior, the lack of enforcement of animal control, or all of the above? And I feel as though it's more the dog owners. All right. A dog is going to do what a dog is supposed to do. Real shit. And Gary says, so would you invest in a 529 fund? No. Me personally, Gary, right? And this is going back to the topic, the Trump funds and stuff for the babies. I would not invest. Right, will start my own kids fund. For real. I'm teaching my kids now how to start saving, how to invest and stuff like that. But invest in stuff that the government is out here, just giving for free? No. I wouldn't do it. I feel as though it's like a setup. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's like a setup. For real. Like, when it comes to our kids' educations as parents, we should be educating our kids. We should be teaching them. All right, we should be showing these things. We should be implementing these things. All right. But I'm not sure if anybody has anything to say about this topic right here. But if y'all don't, we're going to move on to the next topic. All right. We're going to move on to the next topic. And before we do, all right, I want y'all, before we move into this next topic, I want to say this, all right? Let me see if I can find my little John over here. Right, I got to put this on the screen while I'm telling y'all what I'm telling you. All right, because I just learned how to do it. Here we go. I'm hoping that y'all are able to see this QR code on the screen right now, all right? For those of y'all, if y'all have a zip code, please sign the petition. Let's get more cameras into these schools. Let's get deeper backgrounds into these schools, all right? Even though, we're about to talk about a school bus aide and a driver getting arrested for, abusing a child, a minor in the school bus, right? I have to bring this up. I have this petition here, all right? Shout out to, there's a new petition. Shout out to the 20 signatures that are on this petition. We need more signatures. I want to reach over 500 signatures. If we can reach 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, all right, in signatures, that would be perfect, all right? Let's help our kids. Let's, be the voice that our kids need. Let's put these cameras in these schools, all right? The QR code right there, all you got to do is scan it, all right? In the petition, it tells you exactly what it is that the shorty is trying to do, all right? I've said it time after time, on a lot of my lives, all right? Let's get these cameras in there. Let's get these, deeper background checks on when it comes to the school staff, employees, and much more. I also have another petition. Let me see. Will it pop up? Let's see. Will it pop up if I share? No, I'm not going to be able to share that one right now. But it is in the school description down below. If you're from Philadelphia, we're trying to get more speed bumps and more stop signs. All right. At least a police officer or something to deal with the traffic, like, something, because listen, it's a school zone. All right. One of these days, there's going to be, a few accidents on there. There's almost been, it's almost been a few accidents to the point where we have to, sit here and pray for that crossing guard that's there. Disrespectful drivers. And it's crazy. A lot of these drivers are parents, right? But they don't care that there's kids there driving like maniacs, all right? So we need more stop signs, all right, on Erie Avenue. Right where Taylor Elementary School is at. So if you are a parent, right, the link is down in the description box below. All right, we need more signatures. Shout out to the 475 signatures that we have on that petition. All right, we need more signatures for the petition with the cameras, the QR code. I just showed y'all that QR code. All right, now this is my second petition, all right, that I'm on. Shout out to the parents. All right, they have managed to put petitions in. We need to keep this going in order, for us to manage to get these cameras in each and every one of these schools. If you're a parent, right, and you work a lot, you you're not able to, you know, how can I say, be at that school every day, the camera idea is a good, you know, is a good idea. We already started off with the dojo cameras, all right? A lot of parents are able to see what's going on in the classes of, you know, pre-K all the way up to 3rd grade, if I'm not mistaken. I do know that my daughter's school is one of the schools here in Philadelphia where we're going to get cameras in each and every one of the classrooms from pre-K all the way to 5th grade. All right, we want to expand this. We want this to be, you know, worldwide. If you have a zip code, you can sign this petition. You can even, you know, make your own petition from whatever city and state you're from and do the same thing that a lot of parents have come together to do. All right. Now, with that being said, I want y'all to listen to this.
Victim is a 10-year-old autistic boy with little to no verbal communications ability. On November 14th of last year, we received a telephone call from the Department of Children and Families hotline informing us that a witness observed a bus aide striking a child. Our detectives immediately took actions, went and obtained a subpoena, went to the school district, and were able to retrieve 30 days of video footage of activity on that school bus. Unfortunately, the system only captures 30 days. I'm confident that this abuse carried on well before the 30 days that we were able to capture. But during those 30 days,
I have to pause it right here, guys. Listen, if what he is saying is true, then why is it that the people that are sitting in them chairs looking at their security system, right, not reporting the issue within the first day they see it? Why are they taking months, weeks to report these issues after they have happened? The whole purpose of these cameras is for action to be taken. And if the security people that are watching these security videos, right, are not on their job, then they should also pay the consequences along with the school bus driver and the attendants. That's just my opinion.
our bus aide, our suspect, struck this victim on at least 14 different occasions. At one time, you'll see during this video, struck our victim 14 different times. The bus aide is where she belongs, in jail. She's bonded out. The school district has suspended her with pay. She's been employed with the school district since 2013. Our bus driver also participated, and you can see in the video, mocking the child, exploiting and ridiculing his disability, and only fueled his fear after listening to him scream in pain by threatening him with further violence. At no point during any of these 14 incidences did she ever attempt to intervene or stop. Both of these females, both of our suspects, crossed the line of every ounce of human decency. They've both been placed under arrest. The bus aide was charged with 14 counts of child abuse, and the bus driver was also placed under arrest for failing to report child abuse. The bus driver is Tanya Rice Constant, age 62. She had been employed with the school district since 1997.
Dang.
At the beginning of this investigation, she retired from the school district.
She's been working for them since 1997. How many kids did she let people abuse, or she abused herself? That's wild. And back then, they didn't have.
Child had no voice and was unable to take any action. And in this case, we became his voice and we took the appropriate action. What questions can I attempt to answer at this point?
Sure. This voice that has some special needs to sounds like a pretty
We're
severe
going with these low ass mics.
explaining kind of contextualize this video. Where do you draw the line between discipline and abuse?
It's simple. The school district has a clear policy. They can use restraint to help restrain and calm down a disruptive child, someone who has special needs.
Facts.
You can see this is well above the line. You can see and witness the fear. I can feel the fear by watching the video. You can see her continue to strike him. This bus aide terrorized this child, not just in this video of the one incident that we captured that we're showing today, but throughout all 14 incidences. They didn't during that time. Teachers at his school thought something was odd. They saw some bruising under his eye and in his ear. But more importantly, every day when it was time for the children to be released to go home and catch the school bus, they witnessed a complete change in his behavior. They reported it to the school.
That's crazy. But if the school noticed that, that was happening when it was time to dismiss the child, did the parents notice it? What was going on? Because the same behavior must have been happening before he went to school. Like it must have been happening before the younger went to school. So what did the parents notice? Like, because it's crazy. Like, this is the first time that I hear that the school made the report and not the parents.
School district.
In one of the shots, it looks like the person's almost pulling on straps behind the kid. What's going on there?
Yeah, she was pulling on his restraint. He had a restraint system. She was pulling on his restraint. You can see her striking him. You can see her yelling at him, mocking him. You can see her pulling his hair. Again, this bus aide completely terrorized this child, and on multiple occasions. And the bus driver witnessed it, participated in the mocking and the ridiculing and threatening of future violence, and never once, having all these opportunities, intervened to stop this.
Listen. Metaphorically speaking, right? I can only say this metaphorically, right? Boy, I would have turned into Griselda Blanco, right? And I've been through this. Listen, for my kids, boy, don't bring that beast out of me. You do not listen. Leave this calm Racheal. All right, let her be. Because when it comes to my kids, boy, there's a beast in me that fucking wakes up, and y'all wish y'all would have left that beast sleeping. All right? Listen, don't mess with my kids, boy, because there's a side of me that I'm telling you that a lot of people is like, yo, leave her alone, man. Because I can get very political and I could disrespect you very respectfully. Oh, man, I turn into Griselda Blanco. I don't care about rocking that orange suit as long as I've accomplished my mission and my kids is good. Because I know that, if anything was to happen to me, the hands that they, end up being with will be there for them for the rest of their lives.
I'm sorry?
What, if anything, did the women say to the deputy?
Yeah, great question. The bus driver said it was just jokeful, playful behavior between her and the bus aide and the child. The bus aide absolutely refused to answer any type of questions. The parents said that the child's doing better. They can witness a complete improvement in the child's behavior since he's no longer around these two individuals. Yeah, they were mortified, like any of us as parents would be, mortified that knowing that their child, unlike a lot of our children, they're intelligent. They can verbalize what's happening, what happened to them, and this poor 10-year-old doesn't have that ability. So again, my heart goes out to he and his family.
I know they've been employed for a while. Was there any other history of issues with them?
Great question. Another good question. No, neither one of them have a criminal history. Neither one of them have an employment history where there were any other types of abuse reported to the school district or to DCF.
Is anybody going through any other videos, or are you eliciting any sort of concerns anybody might have who had these two women as their...
We We absolutely are reviewing video. It's still an active case. Unfortunately, we're faced with the headwind that the video in school buses are only captured for 30 days.
It seemed like they specifically targeted this one child.
Not that we're aware of. Again, that's part of this investigation still remaining active as detectives and supervisors combing through that video footage for that 30 days to make sure that there was no other victims.
I know you said that one of the aide, I believe, said this was, or either the driver that aide said this was, playful behavior. You could hear the boy kind of wailing in the background. I mean, how do you react to that when that's their response?
Yeah, it's complete rubbish. The bus driver saying that this was jokeful, playful behavior. You can see the terror that this child sustained, not just during this incident, but all the videos that we have. There's no such thing.
When dealing with kids with special needs, the bus driver, was this kid like on a regular bus, or do they have any special training we go through when dealing with special needs kids?
Yeah, this is a special bus with a specially trained bus aide on it that does receive additional training to know how to deal with children who have special needs.
And that's the difference between the special ed buses and the regular buses. People, for some strange reason, always thought that the yellow buses were for, kids with learning disabilities or special ed. When in reality, right, I don't know if y'all noticed it, right, back then the school trips used to be in yellow buses, right? But they were for kids that, they didn't live close to the school. They had to walk a long distance, couldn't afford, to pay transportation. They still have it. They still exist. But then they got the smaller buses, then they got it now where because they got the classes that are mixed up, right? The big buses, the regular buses, they used to be for the regular kids, right? The kids, right, with special ed needs and learning disabilities are mixed up with the regular kids. I don't know if it's, I know that's like that in Philly, and it used to be the way, I just explained it. I don't know if it's like that anywhere else, right? Like, unless people talk with me, I'm not going to know. You see where I'm coming from? But I do know that that's how it is here in Philadelphia. But the yellow bus existed for regular kids since forever, for real.
Which makes this even worse that she knew better. She was properly trained on how to react to different various forms of behavior. And again, this goes against any grain of human decency.
Since many of these kids may be nonverbal, is it possible that maybe there were other cases that just weren't somehow or another related to parents? And is this an opportunity for them to reflect on whether or not there were changes in the past in their children's behavior and to examine whether or not that might have been the case?
Absolutely. And that's why I felt it was important to have this press conference today, was to see if there's any other children. I mean, we're doing our part. We want parents to maybe pick up the phone and call, reach out to us if they believe that their child was abused, struck, mocked, ridiculed by one of these two women. We sure would love to find out.
Were there other kids on the bus while this is going on?
There are. Yeah, there was another special needs child who witnessed what was happening and was able to communicate.
They didn't show the video on this one, did they?
Yeah, they have. Detectives have reached out to other parents and had additional communication with children and parents.
This part, right?
Yeah, that's part of this case. Again, that's why this continues to remain active. I certainly hope and pray that there's no other victims. I don't know why they targeted this child to terrorize, but I'll only feel more comfortable and be able to put my head on the pillow at night knowing that we've child. Thank you, everyone. Have a great, safe weekend.
All right. Give me a second. I'm trying to see if we can find the video. Found it. let's check the video out.
It's George. Caught on camera, a child abused on a school bus. It's hard to watch. And tonight, a Hillsborough County bus aide and bus driver are accused of it. One of them is accused of abusing the child with autism, while the other one laughed. News Channel 8's George MacArthur is live at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office with what led to the investigation. Yeah, how were they tipped off?
Yeah, Stacy. Well, deputies say teachers automatically noticed a change in the child's behavior when it was time to go home and get on the school bus. That's what prompted deputies to take a look at the cameras on the school bus, and they say what they saw was disturbing. This video is hard for any parent to watch. A defenseless child being hit over and over by someone entrusted with their care, while another adult not only watched but laughed.
And only fueled his fear after listening to him scream in pain by threatening him with further violence.
The investigation.
Here's what I don't get. How the parents didn't notice it, but the school did. You know what's crazy? Shout out to the teachers. Shout out to the staff that did notice what was going on. I'm just a little like, how the parents didn't notice? You should notice as a parent, like what's going on, you know, with your child, the change within your child.
Investigation began back in November after a witness reported the abuse. Detectives reviewed video footage from on the school bus. They say 79-year-old Juanita Wright repeatedly abused the victim, and while the driver, Tonya Rice Constant, did nothing to stop it.
Unfortunately, the system only captures 30 days. I'm confident that this abuse carried on well before the 30 days.
Deputies say the abuse happened at least 14 different times. And when questioned about the abuse,
The bus driver said it was just jokeful, playful behavior between her and.
Yo, bitch, let me fucking slap you around like that and tell you it's some jokeful, playful behavior and see if you fucking like it. Like, yo, I'm telling you, some motherfuckers make me feel like I'm Homer Simpson and they fucking Bart. Yo, I just want to.
And the bus aide and the child.
Hillsborough County Schools released this statement in part, quote, the bus attendant who was hired in 2012 was removed from duty back in November as soon as we were made aware of the allegations. Her employment has been terminated. The driver retired from the district in November when the investigation began. And the bus aide was arrested on 14 counts of child abuse, and the driver, she was arrested for failure to report it. Reporting live in Ybor City.
How about the security people that were watching this shit? Y'all arresting them? Oh yeah, I forgot I had this poll. Is y'all arresting them? Like they all need to take accountability. Listen, let's talk about it. All right. This school bus aide and driver arrested after a child with autism was seen, being abused. My blood boiled reading that. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office held a whole press conference, and honestly, the fact that these two were suspended with pay, all right, with pay, is a crime all by itself. With pay, yo, after abusing a child who literally depends on adults to keep him safe. That's not suspension, all right? That's a vacation. And meanwhile, the child was facing terror twice a day, every day, all right? On the way to school and back. Should anyone accused of harming a child ever be, how can I say, suspended with pay? Yo, man, lock them bitches. Well, they locked up. Throw away the fucking key. No bail, no nothing, man. Put them bitches. Yo, we built caskets up in this bitch. Somewhere along, in La La Land with Peter Pan, all right, the Undertaker, all right, and the fucking, what's his name, Grim Reaper, all right, we building caskets, all right, they got all my caskets up there in La La Land somewhere stored up for a shorty, all right, and we would, listen, we gonna bury these mofos 10 feet underground, all right, fuck 6 feet. Like, can you imagine the fear that little boy felt? A child with autism who already experiences that, the world differently, being abused by the very people who are supposed to protect him, that's not just physical harm, right? That's emotional trauma, sensory trauma, trust trauma. And you know damn well this wasn't the first time. People like this, people like this, they don't wake up one morning and suddenly start, abusing kids. They've been doing it. They've been getting away with it. They've been hiding behind the system. Do you think this was, an isolated incident or part of a long-term pattern? And me personally, I feel like it's part of a long-term pattern. This is not an isolated incident. This wasn't the first time. And thank God, thank God for those cameras. Because without them, these kids would still be suffering in silence. Cameras don't lie. Cameras don't get tired. Cameras don't get, intimidated. Well, people could erase them. People could, edit them. But when they're not tampered with, the truth is right there. Cameras don't forget. Cameras catch the truth. Whether it's an adult bullying a child or another child being aggressive. And that's why, I've been advocating this. I've been advocating this for years. Cameras save lives. Cameras expose monsters. Cameras protect the innocent. Should every school bus in America be required to have cameras installed? Yes, and they do. I don't know if there's any school buses without cameras in them. They should all have cameras in them. Because I know the parents fought hard as shit to get them cameras in there, the same way us parents are fighting hard as shit to get cameras in these classrooms. But here's the thing, right? Cameras only catch, right, what's happening. They don't prevent it. They don't fix the root cause. They don't change, the cognitive behavior behind the abuse. And that's where the system keeps failing. We keep, we keep reacting after the harm is done instead of preventing it. We need deeper background checks, all right? We need, psychological evaluations. We need trauma screenings because some people are very good at hiding their craziness, their anger, their instability, their past. Should school staff be required to undergo mental health screenings before being hired? And I think they should. And this is why my petition, and y'all know I've talked about this, a million times. All right. We don't just ask for cameras. We ask for deeper, vetting. We ask for stronger hiring standards. We ask for accountability because anybody can smile in an interview. Anybody can act, patient for 20 minutes. Anybody can hide their trauma long enough to get a job. But once they're alone with vulnerable kids, that's when the truth comes out. Do you think current background checks are enough or do they need to go way deeper? Me? Way deeper. Y'all seen I've taken action. All right? I constantly talk about this. I preach about it every day. I don't just talk about it. I go out there. I put flyers out there. Right? I talk to parents. I go to school meetings. I go to community meetings. Yo, these poor kids, they can't speak up. They can't defend themselves. Right? They can't articulate what's happening, and predators know that. That's why they target kids with disabilities, because they think nobody will believe them. They think nobody will notice. They think nobody will check, and that's why they need systems in place that, don't rely on a child's ability to report abuse. We need systems to catch the abusers before the damage is done. And for that to be done, all right, the motherfuckers behind, these screens watching what's going on need to also be held accountable. If they don't report the incident when it's done, when it's being caught on camera, they need to be reported. They need to be locked up too, right along with the motherfucking abusers. And I apologize, excuse my French, but shit, man, I'm passionate about this topic. Why do you think predators target the most vulnerable, right? The most vulnerable children. So if anybody wants to come up on the panel and give their opinion, the link is right there. Because this is something I advocate for hard. This is something we, talked about on this channel over and over, protecting kids, especially kids with disabilities. It's non-negotiable. And until the system starts taking this seriously, we're going to keep seeing these stories. And I'm tired of seeing them. I want change. I want accountability. I want safety. What's the first, how can I say, reform you think schools should implement to protect vulnerable kids? All right, let's talk about it. For those of you catching the replay, leave your comments down below and let's get this conversation started. All right, let me ask y'all this, right? Instead of putting the poll down there, I'm going to read it to y'all. What's the biggest failure in this situation? Weak hiring background checks, lack of mental health screening, poor oversight on buses, or all of the above? In my opinion, it's all of the above. So I'm going to give anybody, a chance, a moment to say something if they want to say something. All right, shout out to Mr. Oates. He said, right, if they want to say something, all right. And we're going to move on to the next topic. And y'all know what my next topic is, man. Y'all know, man. But listen, y'all know I got to talk on my boo. Y'all know I got to bring up my boo, all right? So we're going to talk about my boo next, all right? Listen, he be spitting them gems. I just love my boo. But I want to give y'all some time, all right? Or I go take, how can I say? I ain't no man, but I'm going to say it. Fuck it, man. I'm just in the mood of saying it, all right? I'm a female. I ain't got it. But, man, listen. A shorty gotta go drain her lizard. I gotta go drain my lizard.
In the old days, love was pure and true. Now it's just a show for all to view. People use it for their own gain, leaving hearts in sorrow and pain. Once a sacred bond, now just a game. Hearts are broken, never quite the same. Love used to be a beacon bright, now it's lost in the shadows of the night. Oh, how we long for those days of yore, when love was honest forevermore. But now it's twisted, tainted and cruel, leaving us drowning in an endless pool. What can we do? In the spiritual world, all seems bright, but shadows lurk in the dead of night. Half of humanity wears a wicked guise, evil deeds hidden behind virtuous eyes. Beneath the surface, a darkness lies, masks of deceit veiling their lies. In this realm where good and evil collide, the line between them is blurred, hard to decide. So tread carefully in this world so grand, for not all that glitters is gold in the sand. In the spiritual realm where illusions endure, evil and good dance in eternal obscure. Just imagine that. Karma doesn't ask you how you want it. It just comes and take it. So be careful how you treat others on your way up the ladder, cause your way down, trust me. In a world of empty stares, fake love fills the air. Sincerity's distant glare, leaving hearts in deep despair. Truth is lost in a web of lies, hiding behind deceitful eyes. Love that fades and slowly dies, leaving us with heavy sighs. Aching souls in a loveless land, yearning for a genuine hand, but fake love rules with cruel demand, leaving us to understand. In this age of like and retweets, we've forgotten what real love truly means. It's not just about show and tell, but a feeling that makes our hearts swell. It's hard to know who's true and who's fake in a world where appearances are hard to shake. But real love is deeper than a profile pic. It's in the way that someone makes your soul click. So let's not get lost in the digital haze. Let's remember what real love truly conveys. It's not about followers or online fame, but a connection that sets our hearts aflame. In this world of make-believe, they all wear a smile. But behind the scenes, it's just a clever guys, puppets in their show, dancing in their stage. We're all just pieces of their charade. Beneath their mask of joy lies the tangled web, where secrets and deceits are carefully bred. Their lovey-dovey act is just for display. We're all caught up in their twisted play. So let's break free from this illusion so grand and see through the facade with hearts unplanned. No longer pawns in their game of charade. Let's find our own path and not be swayed. I feel like I'm surrounded with people with strings attached to their back, waiting for their master's command. It's like when I was little, right, and I was reading Pinocchio. Every time that he told a lie, his nose grew. It's just that, in real life, their noses don't grow. Karma just can't.
Mr. Oates, you there? Are you still walking your dog?
No, I'm here.
You got anything to say before we play the next video?
No, you're giving me a whole lot of insightful information. Trust me.
All right, bet. All right, let's talk about it, guys. Listen, Papa Duck out here saying he gave too much information. And honestly, that man be dropping gems, All right, people ain't ready for it. All right, he starts talking about the Vatican, the power structures, the folk behind the curtain, and something everybody, everybody's ears perk up like, hold on now, like, wait, and y'all know I love me some Papa Doc. I love me some Papa Doc. That's my boo. All right, he always on point, always connecting the dots, always saying the things people whisper about but never say out loud. He ain't scared to say it. All right, he got his cojones right in the right place. All right, and the crazy part is half the time he says something, I'm sitting here like, yep, been saying this for years. I'm like, yo, baby daddy, man. Like, remember when you first started this podcast, you were saying this and this and that, and people ain't want to listen. Shit. Why do you think people get uncomfortable when you start talking about who really runs the world? All right, let's check out. Let's listen to what my boo got to say. All right. What happened? Yo, wait, my screen just stopped sharing. Why did it do that?
Yo, about to risk it all with this information I'm finna give y'all. And if you're truly seeking true knowledge, look at what I'm about to show you. Screenshot it. Go study each one of them.
Pay attention.
I'm gonna warn you now. You're about to go down a rabbit hole that I hope you're prepared for. Check this out. Now, these are the motherfuckers we need to be pointing our fingers to. These are the people that gave you your perception of what we call life. They the one who told you to go to church every Sunday, believe in a deity that doesn't exist, gave you your religion, your educational system, the fucked up foods. Everything about this life as you know it came from these very people in the name of demonics, in the name of rituals, and in the name of control. They are the end all be all. Study these names and this will give you all the answers to your questions, but beware, you are about to go down a hell of a rabbit hole. Now let's get back to the video. Yo, what's happening? It's your boy Papa Duck back with another video. Okay. Make sure you go to ubuntuapparel.com. All information in the description of this video. That's how y'all can help me with this journey by supporting. Also, for all you who are on YouTube, go right below. You can click, go to the store. You can order from there also. I just want to say thanks in advance and double salute to all my monthly members, my monthly subscribers. Thank y'all so much. Now, what I just showed y'all are the families that run this motherfucker. Not God. Okay? And I know a lot of y'all don't want to hear that. And this is why a lot of people aren't ready to obtain this type of knowledge. I've been telling y'all this for a long time. The puppets you see, the Bill Clintons and the Trumps, Donald Trumps and this and that. People have no fucking power at all. You must understand that the world you know isn't what it is. All a lie. All the people they showed you, I told you, real power, you can't see it. But you can feel it. You will never be exposed to these people. You will never know about these different families. We're talking over 570 trillion fucking dollars, which lets you know right there that money is infinite. It was a process. It went from gold, which is God's money that they can't create. They went from gold to dollars, paper dollars that they can create. And now that we so hooked on paper dollars, they just got rid of the gold and left us with the belief that paper money is worth money, is worth something. And it went a step further and doing away with paper money and giving you numbers and zeros in the system. And that's boom, it's game over. That's why the more I think about this world, this fairy tale ass world, the more I think about the people. It's not y'all fault. Y'all was brainwashed and duped into this motherfucking system. And a lot of people just aren't going to get out.
That's crazy because I agree with him. I agree with him. Listen, let's be real. Plenty of times I've said it. Everything leads back to the Vatican, the old power structures, the institutions that have been, running things long before we were even thought of. And people act like that's some, wild conspiracy when really it's just history. It's documented, it's patterns, it's influence. But folks don't want to hear that because it forces them to admit, all right? It forces them to admit the system, all right? They trust it really built for them. Do you think people avoid these conversations because it's scary or because it challenges their beliefs? And I feel as though that is both, right? It's not just scary to them, but it challenges their beliefs. And I'm answering the questions myself because I know nobody in the chat is going to answer them. And I know I don't have enough people in the chat to answer them. Hey, but little by little, man, more people are going to come in and we're going to be able to have more conversations. And they're going to be brave enough, like Mr. Oates, to come on a panel, right? And have a human, decent conversation with a shorty, man. Because I don't bite. I got teeth, but I don't bite.
You're not. Those families I just showed you are the ones you need to go study. Those are the ones you need to see what's going on. And I mean, really go under the hood of that. If you really want to know what's going on, you really want to know true knowledge, go study those families. And you will see true power. You will see where this shit stems from. And like I say, it has nothing to do with the God that they taught you about. Okay? Everything is wrapped around ritual and demonic acts and different things that's going to keep you dumb, deaf, and blind and keep you wanting the next iPhone, keep you wanting the next, go to the next, game or whatever the case may be. When it comes to entertainment, go study Baal, B-A-A-L, right? And then you'll start to understand how entertainment plays a part of this, why people paint their faces and go to games and put, silly thing shit. Well, these people have done a number on us. And it's all fake. It's all fake. I can even tell you that a lot of stuff that they say Hitler did, and Hitler was this bad person, this and that. Hitler cleaned Germany up in 3 years. Mandatory 3 months vacation, paid vacation. Took them bitches from poverty to a strong nation. Banned the funny shit, the gender, the trans, you know what? They banned all that shit. And I'm trying to say it in a way where you understand it. And I'm not saying everything that he did was great, but when you do your real history, like they do.
I question the same shit. I mean, go back so that y'all can hear he said properly when I'm done saying this. Because I do got it. I got to pause it. It's not my video. I know Papa Duck ain't going to give me no copyright strike. All right? But I still got to pause it. All right? But listen, he is correct. Right? It's crazy because I myself have questioned, even when we dove down rabbit holes, right? Speaking on the Hitler history, right? Because we've done a few videos on Hitler. All right? I've questioned it. Like, I know he's done some fucked up shit, but it's crazy the stuff that he was fighting for. That listen. I'm not gonna get into it right now, but it's like in that episode of the Boondocks, right, where Uncle Ruckus and Grandpa, right, was trying to tell the story about that Freeman, right, and even on that episode, it exposes, right, how in reality out here in the real world, right, they'll make a certain person from history, right, seem like a superhero or a villain at the same damn time. It's like, unless you really do your research, you're not going to know the real story.
Great, but when you do your real history, like they do, they tell you what they want to tell you. They tell you Gaddafi was a bad person. They tell you for you. Don't think America's on your side. This hoe don't care about no one. And anybody that they exploit, you better understand there's a reason why they want you to see certain people under a certain light, because they didn't serve their agendas. And if you look at the people that they say Hitler, what he did to them, you know who I'm talking about, which it's a reason why you can't say their name so much.
Facts.
Because they running shit to this day, even though they fake. They're not the real J's. Put it together. They're not the real J's. They J-ish. Right? I hope y'all can catch on what I'm saying.
I'm catching on.
But those are the ones that fucking over all us today. They are the ones that own everything. They are the ones that has all these TV stations that promotes the propaganda. They're the ones that own all the media companies that brainwashes us and create this perception of what they say life is and not.
So true. Because believe it or not, Kanye's craziness, there's some truth involved in there. All right. But hey, look, listen, we got to find ways to talk about this because they will strike your channel for saying certain things.
They give us the religion. They give us, like, look at what they're doing to us today. The J's. You know who I'm talking about? 3 letters. They J-ish. They're not the real ones. But look at what they're doing to us today. They own over 50, over half of the NFL, NHL, in baseball league. They own everything. Hollywood. Look what they're doing to us. Look at all the tools they have to paint this perception to the world and keep us dumb, deaf, and blind to this day.
Facts.
And once you realize the bullshit they're doing to us, because you don't never see them on TV. You don't never see them on sitcoms and being depicted in the news as this type of person. No, they do that to everybody else while they thrive.
People don't want to
off
talk
the
about
backs of us. And if you look at the shit they're doing today, you start to wonder why Hitler did what he did.
Get you to think,
Doesn't
don't
make
it?
sense. All I'm gonna tell you is this: you're not responsible for how someone sees the world. Me as a black man, I'm not responsible for how black women act. Black women, you're not responsible for how black men act, how white people act. Who is though? Who is responsible for the very perception that has been placed in all our minds for free? Who gave us the concept of this life? Who told us to go to church every Sunday? I'm gonna do a whole nother video about that. Think about it. Think motherfucking hard. Now, go study those families. Go study those names. The Borgeses. Some of them not in there, but they just as high, but not as high as those 13. Those are the end all be all. Life as you know it comes from them motherfuckers right there. Now, I just gave y'all some game. I go do some research. And if you know anything about them, put them in the comments. If you research anything about them, come back and put them in the comments. I do go through the comments. I do want to start bringing people in so we can start doing like lives, or you can come in on the, and talk about certain stuff. And it's just all about putting this stuff out to the family. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I know what you're saying. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to listen to Mr. Oates. All right, he gave me the idea. I don't know if people have noticed. I've been dropping links more often. I'm gonna do it on this channel. On the other channel, I'm not gonna drop links in reality because my daughter's gonna be doing reviews and reactions with me on certain, on certain types of videos. All right. So I'm definitely not dropping links, but I want y'all to show some support and love, man, because we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be putting some good content out there. All right. It's gonna be a little more family oriented. But over here, I'm definitely gonna start dropping links more often.
The community, to all of the people who don't have access to this information. Some of the shit I can't talk about. Like I could get, oh my God, I can go so deep with it. But I try to do a surface level, and some things I have to leave up to y'all to go see, so that you can see for yourself. Because they listen to hear everything, so you know how that is. Anywho, man, I love y'all. Put your comments on the bottom of this video. And just see it for what it is, man. Don't try to lie to yourself. Just be real. If it's in you, it'll come out you. But if it ain't in you, it ain't coming out you. Meaning, if you just don't see what's going on because you don't want to see, that's something different. All this shit is common sense. And you can't be a person of God or the Most High, I would say, and think it's okay to take advantage of another group of people because of where they from, the color of their skin, or how they look, or any of that shit. You the fucking devil. Ain't nothing godly about you. Stop the bullshit. People who do that because they benefit from that shit, and they sit under the hood of religion, thinking it's going to protect them. No, you're a piece of shit. Because if you love all, and this is only for the real.
Facts. Y'all see why I love them.
So with that being said, put your comments on the bottom of this video, man. I love y'all. Like I tell you all the time, in order for you to be found, you must first
be lost. All right. Shout out to Papa Duck, man. Listen. I love me some Papa Duck. I love listening to this. You know, the gems he be putting out there. Listen. This is why I always say this whole red versus blue thing, man. Y'all, listen. Y'all out here fighting over crumbs while the people at the top are eating full course meals with dessert and leftovers. Red or blue, it don't matter. You arguing, with your neighbor while the real power, how can I say, the real power players are laughing at both of y'all. That's why I keep saying the system ain't broken. It's working exactly how it was designed to. All right. We just, how can I say, we just weren't the ones, all right, it was designed for. Do you think political division is intentional to keep people distracted? And I'm gonna put it in the chat. All right, let me type this down. All right, I'm gonna start typing all this down for you. All right, let me start the questions. I could put it because it'll show up on Twitch. It'll show up here and on any platform that I'm on. All right. Do you think? All right. Do you think political division is intentional? All right, to keep people distracted? Yeah. All right. I think it did show it all. Listen. We got to learn how to work around this, how can I say, so-called broken system. All right. We got to bring in what's missing. Unity, awareness, tragedy. All right. Community, real conversations. We got to stop letting them divide us by race, class, party, religion, whatever, y'all want to call it. Because once we put, our differences, to the side, once we actually unite, once we start thinking for ourselves, baby, yo, I'm telling you, the whole game changes. What's the biggest thing stopping people from uniting right now? What's the biggest thing, all right, stopping people from uniting right now? I'm hoping it's going to all of them. All right. And let me tell y'all this, right? Part of unity is learning how to listen. Not listen to respond. Not listen to argue. Not listen to prove a point. Listen to receive. Listen to understand. Listen to grow. But, people don't want to hear that. They don't, how can I say? They want to be right. They want to be loud. They want to be defined. All right? No. They don't want to be defined. They want to defend their comfort zone. Right? And that's why, these deeper conversations never reach the people who need them the most, because they're too busy reaching, right, and reacting instead of reflecting. Do you think, let me write this down. Let me write it right here. So I gotta make sure it hits all three of them, right? Do you think people fear new information because it forces them to change? And I would love to hear your honest opinions on it, right? Do you think people fear new information because it forces them to think? And that's why, I always say, I'm not here to change nobody. I'm not here to force anything on anyone. I'm here to bring awareness. I'm here to bring solutions. I'm here, to open the door. You got to walk through it. All right. Everybody receives what they're, meant to receive when they're ready. Some people ain't ready for these conversations. Some people ain't ready to question the world around them. And that's okay. All right. Growth has its own timing. Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But, listen, even though I didn't have a father in my life, I did have a grandfather. All right. And it's going to lead me to ask y'all, right, this next question. Do you think, people wake up on their own, or does something have to happen to push them to wake up to see, the reality around them? I mean, I just ask questions, all right? Like, listen, the whole part of this is to have conversations that matter and see if we can bring solutions to the table, right? But for the ones, who are ready, for the ones who can, handle these deeper topics, for the ones who, see the patterns and feel the shifts, these are the conversations that matter. These are the conversations that break generational cycles, right? These are the conversations that expose the truth behind the curtain. And that's why I rock with Papa Duck, because he's not scared to say what what can I say? How can I say this? He's not scared to say what needs to be said. And neither am I. Are you ready for more conversations like this, or does it make you uncomfortable? And even if it did make you uncomfortable, I'm going to be consistent with my routine, right? I'm not going to change what I do, because it's crazy, right? I have my good times and I have my bad times, right? There's times where I have some people in the chat, right? And we have a dope conversation. And there's times where I'm just in here by myself. There's times where I can have, someone on the panel like Mr. Oates, right? Or anybody. And we have a dope conversation, and there's just maybe like 5 people in the chat, just like today. But I'm going to continue to be consistent. Some people say they can't do that because they need an audience to interact with. I get what they're coming from, because sometimes it feels like I'm talking to myself when there's nobody here, or where nobody's actually typing in the chat. But at the end of the day, right, when they say lead by example, is exactly what I'm showing y'all every day, right? I don't like coming on here and talking about other people, right? Do I have opinions and I give it? Yes. If I'm asked an opinion, will I give it? Yes. I'm not scared of that, right? It took me a while to learn how to speak my mind, right? So at the end of the day, once I learned how, once I found my voice, there was nobody in this world that could censor me. For real. I'm not going to sit here and lie. So, as we, close out tonight, let's really sit with everything we talked about, because this isn't, how can I say, this wasn't just a news recap. This was a mirror held up to the world we're living in, right? From foster care failures to political chaos, from predators hiding in plain sight to communities protecting the wrong people, from kids being exploited online to kids being, abused on school buses. Every story tonight pointed to the same truth. The system around us, all right? The system around us are not built. Let me put it like this. The systems around us are not built, all right, to protect us. They're built to maintain themselves, all right? And if we don't start, how can I say, paying attention, speaking up, and demanding better, we're going to keep watching the same tragedies repeat like reruns. Like I was saying earlier, right? The same reason why you keep seeing the same politicians, right, run term after term after term is because nobody is focusing locally. Everyone is focusing federal, right? The foundation is at the bottom. The infrastructure needs to be fixed from the bottom up. But hey, not everybody wants to talk about this, listen to it, or even hear it. So listen. Are we paying attention, or are we just getting used to the chaos? We talked about children, right? The most vulnerable, the most innocent being failed over and over again. Foster kids abused for years. A child with autism mistreated on a school bus. A 4-year-old attacked by a dog and now, scared to walk outside. Kids exploited online for money. Kids harmed by adults who were, supposed to protect them. And if that doesn't shake you, if that doesn't make you want to fight for something better, then I don't know what will. All right, because when the kids aren't safe, the future isn't safe. That's why listen, this is why I came up with that community center, all right, idea. Right, and it's crazy it's taking this long, but it's took 7 years. All right, no, yeah, 7 years, because in reality my voice didn't get heard until 2024. I started this back in 2017 going on 2018, right before the pandemic started. All right, I've been doing this YouTube thing for 7 years, going on 8 if I'm not mistaken. See where I'm coming from? Like, and what's crazy is that I've had issues with my, community center and stuff like that, trying to, raise a lot of money online. It's crazy because before in the beginning, this is how I learned about Umar, and I don't get tired of saying it because people was comparing what I was trying to do with what Umar is doing, right? And then I had to learn, like, damn, all right, look, man, motherfuckers on social media, like, I don't know, there's a whole different world. Shout out to the ones out here within the community, all right, that is a part, that is supporting a shorty, that is rocking out with a shorty and knows that, what I'm doing is real, that it's serious, it means something to me, all right? If I wouldn't have stood up, they would have took my child. If I wouldn't have fought for his rights, he would have been in the foster system right now. I've been through my ups and downs with my autistic child. 19 years old right now, right? Like, he be on and off the SSI, but he wants to work. That's what he wants to do. He wants to actually keep a steady job and be able to, be himself, right? So I'm not just fighting for him. I'm fighting for kids just like him and other kids too, all right? Not just kids with, disabilities, because not just kids with disabilities are going through problems too. You got kids out here, all right, that are going through abuse, molestation within their own homes or within the community or within these schools. Right? They're not even safe from these fucking officers. They're not safe from a therapist. They're not safe from a doctor. All right. So as crazy as it sounds, all right, we have to find ways, because before we can fix anything, we have to figure out how we control this. We have to, how we deal and take control of this mental health issues and crisis that we're having. Right. Let me put it like this. How many more stories about children suffering do we need before people finally say enough is enough? All right. We need to, put unity and community again, because unity is not in the word community. It spells it out, but there's no unity amongst us. We're so divided. We talked about violence in our communities and senseless, ego-driven, all right, preventable violence. 2 tow truck drivers murdered, a suspect, right? A suspect on the run, a community torn apart, and the same cycle keeps repeating because people protect the wrong ones, stay silent for the wrong reasons, and let fear dictate the future. But silence is not loyalty, all right? Silence is surrender. And if we want safer neighborhoods, we got to stop protecting the people destroying them. Is the community protecting itself or protecting the chaos? And when it comes to the system, y'all know what I'm going to say, right? We talked about politics, the red versus blue, all right? We talked about the red versus blue circus, the elderly politicians refusing to retire, all right? The cognitive decline nobody wants to address, all right? The programs that look like help but feel like traps. And the truth is, the system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly how it was designed. The division, the distractions, the climbs, all right, they throw at us. Wow, how can I say they eat full meals? It's intentional. And until we stop fighting each other and start questioning the people in power, nothing changes. Are we fighting the system or are we fighting each other? Are we fighting the system or are we fighting each other while the system laughs? Listen. We talked about exploitation from Ryan's World to Papa Duck's warnings. Kids being turned into brands. Parents chasing money instead of protecting childhood. People ignoring the bigger picture because it's easier to scroll than, to think. And like I said, I'm not here to change nobody. I'm here to bring awareness, to spark thought, to open the door. All right? What you do with that door is on you. But pretending these issues don't exist, all right, won't make them disappear. Are we raising kids or raising content? What is we doing? Let's be real. All right? And if you're catching the replay, leave your comments down below. All right? Listen, let's get the discussion started. Let us shorty know what you think and how you feel. All right? We talked about unity. The thing that's, missing, the thing that scares the people and, how can I say, empower them most. Because once we put our differences aside, once we start listening to understand instead of, listening to respond, once we start seeing the patterns instead of the distractions, all right, we become unstoppable. But people aren't ready. Some are scared. Some are, how can I say, comfortable. Some are asleep. And that's okay. Everyone wakes up when it's their time. What's stopping us from uniting? Fear, ego, or conditioning? And to me, it's all of the above, man. So tonight wasn't just a conversation. It was a wake-up call, a reminder, that awareness is the first step to accountability. Accountability is the second, and action is, the third. We can't fix everything overnight, but we can start paying attention, protecting our kids, questioning the system, and refusing to let ignorance guide our future. All right? And if you're here tonight, listening, engaging, thinking, then you're already a part of the solution. After everything we discussed tonight, what's the first thing you think needs to change? Right? And I'm going to ask y'all this, right, in the form of a poll. Because I don't want to type it in the checkers and it's it's not going to work. All right? I got the 3 channels going on. And then these 2 channels on YouTube got the vertical running on them. Right? So it's kind of like, no, I'm not doing this 4 times in 4 different channels. But listen, let me ask y'all this. Which issue from tonight's live needs the most urgent attention? Protecting children, right? From, whether it's from foster care, school buses, or predators, or community violence and accountability, or political manipulation and division, or could it be exploitation of kids online and media awareness? It's crazy because they all need attention, right? Mr. Oates, you got anything to say? You can say whatever you got to say.
No, I say they all fall into one category.
I'm listening. Oh, okay, on the poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you were saying, I think the first question you was the difficult. Oh, I can't remember the exact question, but the first answer was fear of change.
Facts.
And all of those other subcat, you might as well list that as a PowerPoint, because all the rest of them are pretty much led back to fear of change.
And accountability.
Yeah, you want to accept accountability. Yeah, you want to be in your same a little soft space. Okay.
Fact.
But do we have what other videos do we have?
That's what I had set for today, man. That's why this John went for 3 hours and 48 minutes.
Oh, we're gonna have to figure out. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, you're gonna have to go like 6 hours.
No, because tomorrow I got the Kevin Gates interview, and it's gonna be deep. That whole point of me doing the reviewing and reacting to the interview is more towards like the men's mental health. You see where I'm coming from? So
Right.
I really want to because I had a few people send me that, John, and I listened to maybe like 30 minutes of the interview, and I was like, this John is about to get deeper. So tomorrow we definitely gonna go and get into men's mental health, right? And we're gonna use the interview of Kevin Gates on the Shay Love podcast.
All right, what time?
Around the same time.
What you mean at the same time? You act like you go the same time every day. Cut it out.
I mean, no, lately I've been coming on like around 6 o'clock.
Okay, so 6 p.m. All right, I got you.
Lately
I'll
I've
be
been
able-
coming on at 6. So, like, you know, it's like whenever I can. So it's like if I could do it at the same time, I'm definitely gonna do it at the same time. Because what I've been doing is picking up my shorty from school, getting her situated, you know, getting her, you know, what she needs. My son is already 16. So it's like I don't really gotta, you know, do much for him. And then I'm able to do my live.
All right, that's what's up. Well, I'll definitely be over here. You guys, I appreciate your content for the night. This is just, yeah, this is something to make y'all go think. Just think and go look towards the light. Like, yeah, just go try to learn about, you know what I mean, what's really affecting your life versus what is really doing nothing. If that makes sense for some of y'all, I'll explain it later. But anyway, I appreciate you for having me up. You about to close it down, Riders?
Yeah, because ain't nobody else coming up to chop it up with us, and I don't think you got any topics. I thought Answer was going to go live today. He said he was going to do part 2, but he went into the vertical earlier while I was doing the live. So I'm not sure if he went live again or not, but I'm going to see who's live now.
All right, so I should expect to see you what, Friday?
Yep, today. Well, yeah, in a few, yes, today, later on. Well, tomorrow, yes. Friday at 6 p.m. We're going to do the Kevin Gates.
I'll be over there to definitely holler at you. I got you, Ryder.
All right, bet. Shout out to Mr. Oaks, guys. Listen, man, I appreciate all y'all that came through, show the support, man. I'm about to leave y'all with this lyrical poem, and I hope y'all enjoy it. Where is it? Oh, it's up here.
Yeah, we all got dreams, but we stuck in the grind. Looking back at the past, but it's time to unwind. Everyone can do it, just gotta take that step. Stop dwelling on the losses, let's rewrite the rep. Hating on the president, calling him corrupt. But let me break it down, we gotta interrupt. Law's been in place, he's just playing the game. Ain't about the man, it's about the system's name. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise, yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past, let the hate fall away. We building the future, let's seize the day. Can't you see? You bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype, man, it's all fake tricks. The medic bag empty, y'all shit out of luck. Wake up before you get stuck. Y'all act like y'all in love, but y'all really in lust. Lost in the fame and the fortune. You ain't got no sense. You got the influencer fixation. You let them run your life. Red or blue, you're just a puppet with strings, always in strife. You think they care, but they don't give a damn. Just chasing the glow, the celebrity clout. They'll play both sides, the red and the blue, but they're just pulling your strings while you're stuck on your move. You're waiting for someone to tell you you're in luck, but mommy and daddy ain't coming, they're not in the cut. You're so blinded by the fame, the glitz and the glam, you forget what's real and who you really are. Wake up and see that you're just a pawn in the game. The red and the blue, they're all just the same. Stop being a puppet and take control of your life and break free from the chains. It's time to ignite. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past. Let the hate fall away. We building the future. Let's seize the day. Can't you see? You're bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in pain, but we can't let the darkness keep us chained. We got the power. The voice is the might. Let's come together.
Turn wrongs into right. Everyone's a player, so step to the front. No more division, let's rise from the blunt. It's not just about politics, it's a call to unite. Stand tall, move forward, let's ignite the light. Yeah, we're all in this together, no need to divide. Let's focus on the future, let the love be our guide. From the streets to the halls, let's make change. Break the chains of the past, let's rearrange. Y'all really stuck? Puppets with strings attached, waiting for mommy and daddy to tell them they give a fuck. Y'all wondering why y'all stuck? Damn, can't y'all see? Y'all bleeding all over the matrix and the medic bag is empty. Soldier, soldier, in the game of life. You're playing with invisible strings, trying to prove your worth, but you're just a pawn in a bigger fight. They say you're just a number, another statistic in the system, but you're a soul with a story to tell. So stand up tall, break those strings, prove to the world that you're more than just a marionette. Don't let them control your destiny. You're the master of your own fate. Don't be afraid to go after and take. How do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past. Let the hate fall away. We're building the future. Let's seize the day. Can't you see? You're bleeding all over the matrix. Caught in the hype. Man, it's all fake tricks. The medic's bag is empty. Y'all shit out of luck. Wake up before you're stuck. Everyone can do it. How do we move forward? How do we do this? Just add something to it. Some stay stuck in the past. That's not how we last. Y'all hating on the president saying he corrupt. I don't know who he is. I feel like he's implementing what already exists. We gotta rise above the hate and focus on progress. Together we can make a change and leave behind the mess. It's easy to point fingers and place blame, but true change comes from taking action and making a change. Let's unite and work together for a better tomorrow. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, let's focus on what we can borrow. The power lies within us to create a new path, to break free from the chains of doubt and wrath. Believe in ourselves and each other as we strive for greatness. Together we can overcome any obstacle that tries to hold us back. Think about it. It's a little bit of food for thought. Yo. Damn. Man. Y'all act like y'all in lust, chasing shadows lost in the glitter and the likes everything. Red or blue, y'all fighting over crumbs. While the real world's burning, y'all just hum and strong. Hum strong until you know. So how do we move forward? Let's add something new. Together we can rise. Yeah, that's what we do. Don't get stuck in the past. Let the hate fall away. We're building the future.